What is going on, everybody? It is episode 485 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name is Brett. I am here with my co-host. Would you introduce yourself, please?
Hi, Crisis Actors. It's Mary. Happy Friday. I came in super late today because I had car troubles, so I'm unprepared. Bear with me. It's fine. And as usual, we're joined by a special guest today. It's Director Phil.
How you doing?
Thank you for joining us.
Oh, my pleasure.
So why don't you tell everyone who you are, what you do?
I am Phil. Well, Director Phil. Obviously that's the Instagram handle, but
Yes.
Philip Williams. So I direct short films. I'm from LA, and I guess some people would say I guess I'm somewhat of a low-level influencer in the right wing realm of whether it be social, entertainment, and or political.
Yeah, so that was so I actually found you back in 2020 during COVID when you were making videos talking about COVID on Instagram.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
When I did Michael Myers?
Yeah, like back then. So because it was at a time when, first of all, the studios were all shutting down for the time period. There was no movies coming out. And you were talking a lot about what was going on with mandates and stuff.
Oh yeah. That's what's up.
Yeah.
So what's your reason behind abstaining from Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it?
Abstaining, bro?
Why do you choose to only be on Instagram?
Because that's where my following came from. So to be honest with you, I hated all social media in general. And
Fair enough.
Then Instagram was just more user friendly, I think. And once it started to pop on there, I was like, all right, well, I'll stay here then.
Yeah.
Also, like, you make videos, right? So you're not necessarily typing everything out. You're actually making videos, which is your way of connecting with audiences.
That was the biggest turnoff for Twitter for me. We were talking about it earlier. Yeah. That's why I didn't use Twitter.
So I had a Twitter back in the day. It's really funny. I had it was like the most positive thing in the entire world. It was just nothing but like nice stuff about movies that I liked.
Then I came along and ruined that.
No, I deleted that one. I deleted that one before then, and then I remade a new one like when we started the show and stuff. So now I still see. I'd like to think that mine is still pretty positive. Like I like to go on gushing sprees talking about movies that I love and stuff like that. It doesn't always have to be negative.
We got a $20 one from Bucky Ducky. Probably my last stream for a while, doing some remodeling on my house. It was okay to meet you, Dr. Phil. I wish you all good fortune in the streams to come. Brett, please respond to my Twix message.
I will check it out. I had to double check. I'm like, I did not put doctor in the name.
Yeah,
did
no.
I? Okay, I was like, because I was like, I'll probably make that mistake at least once today.
I've had people say it to my face.
To your face.
Hey, Dr. Phil. I'm like, come on. I get it though. It's very...
See, an easy mistake to make.
It's close. It's close on the name there. Like, it's something that I will end up doing and then being like, I didn't say that, and somebody will play the video back. I'm like, I totally did.
I wasn't even thinking that when I made the handle.
No.
It took people saying, I was like, why do y'all keep saying Dr. Phil?
It makes a little bit of sense. It makes a little bit of sense. So we're going to get into it. We're going to talk to you later a little bit about your career, everything that you're doing. We're also going to talk today about Marvel in Crisis. A big article came out from Variety earlier this week in which they list and talk about all of the pitfalls that seem to be happening at Marvel Studios right now. Everything from Jonathan Majors' court dates that are coming up to the fall of the production line with Victoria Alonso. Phil is just getting his first chance at seeing the money guns go off now.
Yeah.
We don't always tell them beforehand.
Do you like
about
it?
The money guns.
Yeah, I'm trying to give you guys each a 20. Get you a 20?
Thank you.
Thank you. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Marvel. We're going to talk about the fact that Gina Carano put out another tweet. She's been a gold mine.
She's on fire this week.
A gold mine this week, criticizing Disney. Apparently Disney was at one point thinking about buying Twitter, it somehow sounds more evil.
It's so dystopian to think about it.
It is. So we're going to talk about that because she basically confirms that it wasn't just HBO that was running bot armies. It's all of Hollywood. It's how you influence the public. It's how you influence your critics. So we're going to get into that. Also, there was a new music video came out this week from an artist named Sabrina Carpenter, which features a scene that the Catholic Church is not very fond of. And I had Mary watch it because I was wondering, as the resident Catholic, if she was offended by it.
I'm offended.
She's offended.
I'm triggered.
So we're going to get into it. We got a bunch of other stuff to get into, but before we get get started, guys, would you hit the like button on this video? Would you subscribe to this channel, please, if you have not done so already? We are on our way to 75,000 subscribers, so please go ahead and do that. Turn the notification bell on so you can be notified anytime a new video goes live or a live stream like this one goes up. Also, do remember that all Super Chats $20 and over, like the one from Bucky Ducky earlier, we will interrupt the discussion. We will read that Super Chat right then and there. We will interrupt our own discussion just to answer your questions or address your concerns. All other Super Chats will be read between segments and then at the end of the show. So, guys, if you guys are ready, we will just go ahead and get started. Mary, are you ready?
I think so.
I was just like maybe not ready, but as close to be. Exactly. Phil, are you ready?
Always ready.
Let's do this. All right, so we got a bunch of stuff to start off first. We can't show these trailers, but I do want to put these up on the screen here and show these to people and then ask it if these sound interesting you to go and check out. So there's a new FX show coming out called Shogun, which is based on a book that I was reading about here and it was apparently a very popular obscure miniseries in the 80s. And I was actually surprised by the amount of people who responded to me and said that miniseries was a big deal to me when I was a kid. And it reminded me, if you go through and you watch this trailer, it has vibes of an old Netflix show called Marco Polo, which I actually wished had done better than it did. It was kind of like Netflix was trying to make their own Game of Thrones. Unfortunately, it was while Game of Thrones was at the height of its popularity, which means it was never going to compete with Game of Thrones. But I think the trailer has very strong production value, and the book series is apparently very, very good. So if you are looking for something, it is coming out in February of 2024. I think it looks interesting. And then there's this trailer for for Marvel's new show, Echo. I just posted it on my Twitter and put thoughts. And the response is exactly what you'd imagine. It's a bunch of people saying, look at the girl boss character. Marvel sucks now.
Is she a girl boss?
She's
beating up grown men.
Yeah, she's unfortunately they're saying that it's Marvel doing the Disney woke thing. As much as I hate that word, but she's an indigenous deaf woman with one leg.
She has one leg.
She has one leg.
I didn't catch that part.
It's literally she's the box checker. That's her name. It's the box checker. The actress Aliqua Cox is actually not. She's not she doesn't do a whole ton of acting, but she does great stoic facial expression, I guess. She wasn't exactly the best part. She was in. Do
you feel represented as a partially deaf person?
I feel partially represented, yes. As somebody deaf in one ear on my right side feels represented, my left side does not. That's exactly
hilarious.
Yes, it's perfect, right? So go ahead and check that trailer out. It does feel a lot more like old Netflix Marvel than it does regular Disney Marvel, which is kind of interesting now that it's coming out on Disney Plus and Hulu. It said if you notice, I can't pull it up here, but the logo said Disney Plus and Hulu, which means it might come out on both of those platforms. Because if you remember, when Disney Plus brought in all of those Marvel Netflix shows, there was actually some backlash to the amount of violence that those shows had being featured on a Disney platform, because prior to that, Disney was seen as more of a wholesome, family-friendly company. Mm-hmm. Whatever your opinions on Disney are. But I do recommend going and checking out that trailer. It was fine. I think it's a response, personally, to the article, the Variety article, which went viral this week. I think they were like, we got to get something out here that doesn't suck real quick. Yeah. Otherwise, people are going to go into the weekend thinking we're even worse than we are. So I think that releasing that trailer now
cooked it up real quick.
Yeah. So that's at least that's my thought on it. Also,
as if that would in any way offset the concerns about Marvel going woke,
or just Marvel being
and they have the token of all tokens in this one.
Yeah, but it's got Vincent D'Onofrio, who is great. We were talking off screen or off camera earlier about how great Vincent D'Onofrio is. With me and you.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
I love how I was looking over here as you were talking.
He's good.
Yeah, no, he's great.
He's great. So I do recommend checking that out, guys. It's pretty good, but I don't think it's going to help them win their reputation back. Also, if anybody here watched Prison Break, which I did.
I love Prison Break.
There is a new version of Prison Break in the works from the same creator. Doing it without Wentworth Miller and Dominic Purcell doesn't really track for me, given that they're the face of the whole show, especially Wentworth Miller.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, he's great too.
But it was so long ago that
But they did the revival just in like 2018. Like they brought it back in like 2018.
well, I mean,
like
for
one
the
season.
new kids right now,
Yeah.
it's not going to hold any weight. That for us, we're like, yo, what?
Why would you do that?
Yeah, but I think just the concept in and of itself is something great that will. I think it's going to do well only because the concept is just so good. It's a good concept.
It's so great because it's like it's apparently like the most ridiculous prison you like the plan for them to break out of prison it's the most convenient plan you've ever seen in your entire life. They're just roaming around and you're just like, yeah, this makes sense. It's great though. It's great pulp television. It also kind of proves me wrong. The other day I said I watched Star Wars get ruined. I was never a space opera fan. So I was never a huge Star Wars fan. I was never a huge Star Trek fan. And I'm like, I feel bad for the people that love these franchises because they've had to watch them get decimated by corporate America. And I'm like, it'll be fine for me. None of the stuff that I loved is going to get ruined. It was all too obscure or it wasn't long enough ago that they're going to ruin it. And then this comes out like 2 days later.
I actually
Never mind.
finished episode 6 in Star Wars yesterday, and the scene, I don't know if you're gonna remember it, but the scene where all the Ewoks are partying is so funny to me because they like don't actually know what's going on. They just got really into killing, got like way too enthusiastic about killing the stormtroopers, and they're like, yeah, this is great.
So what's an
your favorite?
Ewok?
They're like the furry teddy bear looking creatures.
So which is your favorite of them, of 4, 5, and 6? Empire Strikes Back.
I don't know. I liked them all well enough. It's fine. I don't really like care that much.
Fair enough.
I know nothing about Star Wars.
That's okay. Like it's one of those things where
Have you watched it or no?
Never in my life.
Okay,
have I.
I'm watching it for the first time right now. Just trying to brush up on it.
because of the way that the culture is, especially in like the podcast sphere, or like in geek circles, which is why I've always loudly proclaimed I'm not a geek or a nerd. Like liking those things is not really allowed in a lot of ways. Like they're like, you're supposed to have deep reverence for it. And I've always been like, look, I love that you love it, but it wasn't my thing.
Yeah.
Like, and I just find it weird that
It's
you're
my
just not
dad's
allowed
thing.
to.
My dad's like a Trekkie and all that comic book guy. I know nothing about any of it.
Nothing wrong with that. Speaking of comic books, Superman and Lois canceled after season 4, but that was not hard to believe because it was short. The season was shortened because the budget got slashed post-COVID and stuff like that. It was originally on HBO Max. They couldn't afford on the CW to hold that same budget together. It was good, especially those first 2 seasons. Tyler Hoechlin. I think it's Hoechlin. Good as Superman. Elizabeth Tulloch, really, really good. It's Bitsy Tulloch. That's what her name. That's her name
Bitsy.
in Hollywood was always Bitsy, and then she changed it to Elizabeth in her like 30s, which is crazy.
That's
to me.
weird.
Yeah.
It's like I'm a real grown woman now.
In
You're
my
gonna
30s,
call me Elizabeth.
Yeah. But she was in the show Grimm, which I really, really liked. But if you liked the show Superman and Lois, a lot of
They've
people
got a
did.
new Superman and a new Lois now.
Yes,
for
now
the
that we've got,
movies.
David
Who
Corn
no one has heard of before.
the actor. Yeah.
Corin Sweat. Not a great name.
Not a great-
Corn Sweat's the last name?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not good.
So-
I forget who the Lois chick was. Did they choose a Lois?
I don't
yet?
remember. I can't remember off the top of my head.
They're not
But she wasn't the
memorable
super
at all.
big popular name. But all right, now this is what I want to talk about. So Disney has indeed purchased full control over Hulu. They spent $8.6 billion. They already owned like over 70% of Hulu beforehand, and they spent $8.6 billion to get the remaining percentage of control of it. So it says the acquisition of Comcast's stake in Hulu at fair market value will further Disney streaming's objectives, Disney outlined in its new statement revealed to the Hollywood Reporter. What it does is it proves that Bob Iger has always been kind of a one-trick pony, which is just buy everything. He did it with Marvel. He did it with Star Wars. He did it with Pixar.
Almost Twitter.
Almost Twitter. He's like, well, if you can't make it, buy it, right? Like they had their princess movies. That was fine. Everything else they just bought, which is a viable market strategy. I don't know how much of a market strategy it is now.
Few know
when
this,
you're-
but before Disney ruined Marvel and ruined Star Wars, they ruined Club Penguin. And that really was like a knife in the heart to me.
To you?
Yeah.
How did they ruin it?
That was personal.
How did they ruin it?
Well, they just made the whole platform into a way to advertise Disney movies to the kids using it.
I don't even know what the hell Club Penguin is.
I was about to say, I didn't want to say it, but
the hell is Club
what
Penguin?
is Club Penguin?
Oh my gosh. Okay, I hope that some people in the chat played Club Penguin.
Chat, what the hell is Club Dustin
This is
in the
a
Wind
Gen
says,
Z.
Oh wait,
What
Happy Feet.
No,
What
not
the
the
hell
same
is Club
penguins.
Penguin? Inform us.
Have you heard of Webkins? No?
Webcams? Where they-
Webkins. Like these little like virtual world platforms
Me
in
and
the
Phil
2000s.
are over here like, what the hell are you talking about?
You're playing as a penguin
Okay.
in a penguin world.
So it's a game.
It's a virtual world.
Okay.
Okay, and Disney thought that it was so valuable, they bought this virtual world for kids and used it to advertise Disney movies to
She
the
is
kids.
serious about this.
Cleggy in the chat says
And that
you're
was like they first ruined Club Penguin before they ruined everything else.
Cleggy in the chat says your Gen Z is showing.
It is showing. Anyone else? Anyone use Club Penguin in the chat?
Somebody says it's like Animal Crossing. Okay, I've heard
She
of
held a
Animal
grudge.
Crossing.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did after that.
That's a very long grudge to hold. It's like how long
personal.
ago was that? There you go.
Yeah,
It makes perfect
that was
sense.
important to me.
I was worried about this because out of all the streaming services, Hulu is by far my favorite. It has all the old 20th Century Fox shows, full series of like everything you can imagine is on Hulu. It's the best user interface. It's the best
Well, what's
menu.
the worst that could happen?
Right, that's what I'm about to
Folded into Disney Plus, which is awful.
Well, is it? Do you think they're going to take the things that you like about?
Yes, I do. I think what will end up happening is so Disney Plus does ad free an ad tier now, right? So I think a lot of these shows that I love will get bumped to ad tier, just like how Amazon Prime has Freevee, where a lot of these shows that just aren't popular enough to leave there, they bump them to the ad tier for old people like me to go and watch, which I will not do. I will not do that. I will not watch ads. I'm in the one mad jihad against
so
ads.
happy you're saying that. I'm gonna tell you why later.
Okay. So no ads for me, but I think that a lot of these old 20th Century Fox shows that I love will get pawned off on the ad tiers, and then they'll gut it, they'll get rid of it, and then we'll get stuck with the shitty Disney Plus user interface.
Disney
which
Plus
is awful.
nukes unpopular shows all the time without people knowing it. So maybe if there's things that are less popular on Hulu, they'll start nuking them. But I think they'll just keep the streaming platforms separate and then raise the prices on both of them. So it's a lose-lose.
I just want them to stop putting
situation.
plus on the end of everything.
Yeah, like
you
Apple
could-
TV Plus.
You could come up with something different.
Google Plus.
Oh, plus,
Chat,
plus.
let me check my mic. Is my mic good now?
I can hear you just fine.
Is the mic coming through good over there now? Double check on this one now.
Sounds good to us. But
Okay.
Maybe they were talking about me.
No, they're saying I was coming through on a different mic here. It sounded fine to me, but I don't think it's a problem. But it might be on somebody else's monitor there, but it sounds fine to me. All right, so yeah, I think it's a problem. I don't want them to do this. I'd rather they just leave it with who it was with before. I don't want them to. And I also, Comcast is just, I was reading a tweet from the Salty Nerd podcast earlier. Like, the biggest compliment I can give you these days is like when I turn on a movie, the Universal Pictures logo, which is a Comcast company, it inspires the least amount of dread out of all the companies.
but when the Disney,
I can agree with that.
that when you hear that, it just fills you with existential dread.
I see Universal, I'm like, maybe it's a Fast and the Furious movie. I love the Fast and the Furious movies. Like, it's, I get the least.
You like the Fast and
I
Furious
love the Fast
franchise?
and Furious.
Thank you. It seems like nobody likes
Dude,
bro,
bro.
except me. I love it. Except for the except for the
This
obviously
is like
the last
the running joke on this show is that Brett's the only person in the planet.
It's literally
couple.
just.
Well, I mean, once Paul Walker died, I stopped watching. But up until then, I was
still don't mind
diehard.
him.
Brett still loves it.
I still love him. I didn't like 9. I didn't like the one where they went to space.
Word.
Okay, here's the reason. Because as self-referential as the series is, it gets obscenely self-referential in the 9th one when they're like, maybe we're superheroes. It calls too much attention to itself. The reason the franchise succeeds is while everybody else is acting ridiculous, Vin Diesel takes it super seriously. And as long as that main character buys into the story, you too can buy in. Even if everybody else around him is acting a fool, as long as that main character plays it straight, you can buy it.
I would say it succeeds for the same reasons. I know people are gonna be mad. Same reasons Star Wars and movies like that succeed, even though they keep making $1 million, is because they're banking on on the cult following.
Yeah.
You can make it terrible and people still watch it enough.
I love it.
That they feel
Yeah.
that they could still make another
That
one.
strategy is working for Fast and Furious and some other franchises, but it's actually starting to fail for Marvel and Star Wars finally.
And the Fast and Furious, it's overseas now. Like a big brunt of their box office comes from the foreign market, not necessarily just in America. So they love family.
Well,
overseas.
I would say that the only reason that is failing them now, Star Wars, is because of what they're adding into it. If they weren't adding these things, these woke ideologies and different things in it, and just continue down the way it would still be the same. It's failing because of what's being added to it, I believe.
In the chat, McCrae says, "In space, no one can hear you say family."
That is a great joke.
Amazing. So yes, please, this is me pleading with you, Disney. I know I make fun of you all the time, but I'm your friend now. I like you. Just please don't ruin Hulu. Leave it, please.
Bob Iger
Don't-
definitely watches the show.
Don't put a chick in it and don't make her gay. Just leave it the way it is. I don't need it to be
Make her
different.
green and have her twerk.
Exactly. Please, whatever you do, just leave it, please. All right, guys. This is. Did you ever see Blade? The original Blade?
Yes, I'm a 80s
just,
baby.
Just making sure. So there was a story that came out this week. Now, this is an extension of the story that came out earlier, the one in the article we're going to cover, where they said that the Blade reboot got so messed up in script production that it devolved into being a story about 3 women, and Blade was like the 4th main character, the new one that's coming out.
Yeah.
And it was going to be about life lessons, not about a cool vampire hunter. Maybe it's because, Wesley Snipes isn't there to like keep him in line, which I wish he was, because I love Mahershala Ali. But Wesley Snipes will always be Blade to me.
Yeah, 100%.
100%. So apparently they're saying that was not true now, that those
Michael
stories...
Starbury
Yeah.
tweeted, "I worked on a draft of this before the strike. Never saw a version where Blade was the 4th lead or it was a narrative led by women and filled with life lessons. But I suppose a lot could have happened since I had anything to do with it. He was in 99% of the scripts I was a part of."
Here's the problem with that. If you're Blade, you should be in 100% of the scripts that are...
Yeah, true enough.
There should be no scripts where you're
a
not in
great
it.
point.
You're the main character.
You make Batman and he comes in at the end of the movie. He's Batman.
Doesn't make any sense.
How's this?
Yeah.
It's not Batman.
Well, they said that they did that with one of these shows where like the main character isn't in costume till like episode 4. Like why is Daredevil not in his costume until episode 4? Breakdown in command structure there. So please fix it, and please, for the love of God, if you have the multiverse, actually use it for good once and bring back Wesley Snipes as an alternate Blade. Like seriously, if you're gonna use this stupid multiverse concept, I want Wesley Snipes back in the movie.
But you gotta remember, Wesley Snipes is old now.
De-age him. I'll accept it to de-age him there.
It's because our last time
Yes.
seeing him as that was when he was in his late 30s, maybe early 40s.
Or Major League when he was
That's the last time we seen him. So we're thinking, then he comes back with like these gray cornrows.
You don't feel patronized by member berries like that?
I do, but this is one I'm willing to accept.
Okay.
As my maybe what happens is he hunts down a vampire IRS agent.
He's Wessler.
He
comes back as Wessler.
I'm down he hunts down a vampire IRS agent because he went to jail for tax evasion. So I want him to do that.
Brett has a framed photo of Wesley Snipes and other celebrities who are tax heroes.
Brave tax heroes who are fighting
this
back
guy.
against a tyrannical U.S. government.
In case you don't know, Wesley Snipes is literally one of my top film heroes since I've been a kid. My goal was to be him growing up, be an action movie star because of Wesley Snipes.
I also have a huge poster of Demolition Man in my room, which is another one of his.
With Hershey?
Yeah.
You don't know about Hershey. You know about Hershey?
Mm-mm.
Oh, man. Hershey was Sandra Bullock's name in that movie. Demolition Man. Wesley Snipes.
It's when Taco Bell won the restaurant wars.
What?
It's in the movie there's only one restaurant in all the world and it's Taco Bell.
That sounds awesome.
I know. Demolition Man may have been like there may have been crappy parts of that society, but the Taco Bell part was awesome.
You gotta watch Demolition Man.
You gotta watch Demolition Man. It's fantastic. So we need it, guys. And please fix Blade and make it better. And hopefully Mahershala Ali like buffs up because like Wesley Snipes was big when he was in that role. So he's got to be a buff dude if he's going to do that. All right. I do have this one. I added this one at the last minute.
Okay.
Crazy Plane Lady. Do you know who Crazy Plane Lady is?
That guy's not real.
She has finally spoken on what happened. She went on.
Did she really explain?
She kind of Here,
Okay, she went on a Barstool podcast
the other day, but here's her explanation.
Can I ask again what you saw?
Yeah. You know, the reason why I probably haven't come out yet, because it's like so cringe, I did not see anything.
What?
I mean, I think y'all knew that.
Okay.
Did we?
We honestly had no idea.
Yeah.
You said you did.
No, I did not. The
Those
media.
motherfuckers.
You said this motherfucker's not real.
I said that motherfucker.
Is not real.
These. Or
Okay.
Like,
Apologies.
yeah, so I got in a bit of an altercation. It spiraled out of control. It was not my best moment. I mean, it was actually a horrible moment. It's absolutely mortifying. So
Everyone has
mortifying.
bad moments on planes.
Yeah, but mine, 450 million plus people have seen it.
Yep.
Like,
It's that many? Jesus.
That's a lot of people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Thank God people don't think it's me though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm cool with that. I'm
Wait,
cool with that. I'm happy if they don't think it's me.
So what you're saying is that clip that we all saw, that motherfucker's not real, is not like you thinking that someone is an alien. It was just the tail end of an argument.
It was an expression of speech.
Okay. So it was just like you had an argument with some guy on the plane, and then as you're leaving, you're like, that motherfucker's not real.
Yeah.
That's
Was it like
No.
an armrest? Like you guys are fighting
Yeah,
over
what
the
was the
armrest?
fight over?
She doesn't get into it.
This
Overhead
Explain!
That's crazy, by the way. You're completely vindicated, like, because everyone obviously said they watched the clip and they're like, "Oh, what'd you see an alien? What'd you see this?" It's like, no, she was just saying that motherfucker's not real.
Yeah, I mean, so Daily Mail was like the first to like take it and run with it, and they're like, she saw a not real person, and I'm like, they are making me look batshit. I mean,
Yeah.
and given I did, like I did look absolutely crazy, but no, I'm just was in my feels, needed to get off that. I was highly distressed. Not a good look. It was not a good situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So was it?
It's not a good look.
So was it armrest? Guy smelled bad.
I was thinking
No, I
reclined
was
seat.
actually in the aisle seat, and I like gave up my aisle seat because I'm, as you heard me say, I'm only 5'2". My little bratty ass voice, like, so sorry for that, by the way. So gave up. I was in the middle seat, and it was just, there was just a really bad energy, and I don't want to get into like all the details of that. Just
And then she cuts off, like she doesn't give any more details there. But she made the plane,
What?
she made everybody wait because of bad energy.
So what she's really not admitting is that she wanted to stop the plane from taking off by claiming that everyone was going to die because she was mad at whoever this was sitting next to her.
There's a $20 super chat here from DCNC, says, Bredio, some versions of Demolition Man, it was Pizza Hut that won the franchise wars. Yes,
Oh.
but not the canon of the movie. In the movie, it's
Taco Bell.
it's Taco Bell.
In the version they released to China, it's Pizza Hut.
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. So, sorry, Tiffany, but the fact
Tiffany
that
is not real. Tiffany is capping.
she could definitely be fake. The whole thing could be fake. Also, Mary, you mentioned Selena Gomas the other day. She's deleting her Instagram after taking heat for her comments on Israel-Palestine. Though, isn't it kind of a lie? Because it would be like deactivating, right? Because isn't she like
She
the most
said,
followed person on Instagram?
One of them. She said, I'm
She's like,
taking
like
a break and deleting my Instagram. I'm done. I do not support any of what's going on. And her statement on Israel and Palestine was not even taking any sides, which is why people were so mad at her, as she refused to take a side.
That's been the craziest part
But
of all
like, just
this.
don't make a statement in the first place if you can't take heat for whatever you're gonna say.
Yeah.
I want to say about the plane lady real quick.
Yeah.
She was silenced. That's what I
You
believe.
think she was silenced?
Come on, all of a sudden you went from
You think Mulder and Scully...
well, before she did that, she did another little quick snippet interview, and she was like, "Oh no, all of a sudden, like the whole energy shifted." I'm like, now I'm not saying conspiracy wise, but some. Come on, you've been silent. Someone told you to shut up, and she learned how to shut up quick. Come on,
I
now.
like that.
We know what shutting.
I like the idea that the Fringe division showed up and told her, like, you can't talk about this anymore. You gotta stay quiet.
Yeah, the way she was pointing, that's real. Yo, that's something.
I mean, I think the explanation is much simpler. Don't take sleeping pills before you fly.
That too.
That to me is the more. I'm not accusing her of that. I'm saying that it would explain her behavior.
I'm more surprised that she wasn't in first class.
She
lives in a $2 million home.
Apparently, she bought that house for like. So somebody's like, "Did this as an own?" They're like, "She bought that house for like $450,000. It's worth $2 million." Now I'm like, She still bought a $450,000. I don't know what you're trying to tell me here. She's clearly got money, right?
So what took her so long to say? You got to piece all these things together. If it's taking this long, that's because somebody coached her. You don't take this long. She's not an influencer.
Somebody else said she was flying with relatives and somebody stole her AirPods, or she accused someone of stealing her AirPods.
You're not real because you stole my AirPods.
And that was what caused the fight, but she's never going to really tell us the true story.
Gents, we're getting close to a crisis party. Let's get a crisis party. I want to scare Phil. But yeah, so what have your thoughts been on the celebrities all speaking about Israel and Palestine?
Oh man, my thoughts on that is the majority of celebrities are not speaking on it. So let's be clear about that.
The ones that are
speaking is a very small few, and the ones that are speaking on it, typically from what I'm hearing, they're more so they're not even making full stances. They're kind of like middle grounding it for a particular reason that we are, the reason. If you're in Hollywood, you don't want to piss off the people that sign your checks.
Yeah.
And, you know what I mean? But at the same time too, your bottom line comes from the people that are saying the Palestine, free Palestine.
Yeah.
So it's like, do I mess up who paid where my money comes from essentially, or do I piss off the person that gives me the money that those people give them to pay me?
Yeah.
Right.
I think it's the first time in a very long time that the people who like to virtue signal online haven't had a very clear narrative to follow.
No, they got a clear one.
Not the ones who are equivocating and trying to play both sides and say, and then without making any stance at all, they say I don't support this side, I don't support this side, or I support this side and I support this side, because they're not getting the.
It's confusing because. Does Selena Gomas think that she can just make an Instagram post and then Hamas and the IDF are just going to have a group therapy session together?
Yes.
I saw rainbows and cupcakes.
I agree. Yes, she does.
Stop the killing. And then what? They're going to listen to you?
It's like anytime.
You're Selena Gomas.
The meme is always, it's like anytime there's a world conflict, it says like 15-year-old white girls on Twitter. It's like, why can't we all just get along? Like that.
Well, thank you for your input.
Exactly.
Becky.
That's what they think. There's a $20 super chat here from Not That John Stewart. Says, Happy Monday, Brettany.
Brentany. It's actually Brentany.
Oh, it's even worse. It's a running gag that they never spell my name right here, or they just say the wrong name altogether. It's very rude.
What, B-R-E-T-T?
Two T's. They always spell
very
it with
simple.
one. It's very simple. Brett with one T isn't a real thing, as far as I'm concerned. It's not a real thing. But yeah, I just think that a lot of times Hollywood has their clear narratives to follow, and right now, the ones who are choosing to virtue signal just are trying to make everyone happy, and when you try to make everyone happy, you end up making nobody happy.
I'm gonna say it like this. This is what I look. This is how I see everyone is saying, "Oh, Palestine, Palestine, Palestine," which obviously it's not even Palestine. It's a Hamas, Gaza. But either way, it's the same equivalent to everyone in America yelling "Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter." It's the exact same.
It's the same people.
Yeah, it's the same people doing the same thing. Because why? Because when you champion for who you consider to be the lesser of, it makes you look more virtuous.
Right. Yeah.
Point blank period. At the end of the day, why aren't celebrities doing it right now like they were doing Black Lives Matter? Is because they know they got to go back to work when the strike is over.
Right.
So,
and then the celebrities who support Israel, people like Amy Schumer or Noah Schnapp or Sacha Baron Cohen, they're all saying like, well, I supported all your woke causes in the past, so why aren't you on my side now? Yeah. I posted the black square. I did all the right stances, so why don't you support me now? And it's like, okay, you saw it as a transaction all along. You're revealing your true colors.
It was never actually your intent.
Yeah.
Great point.
Yep.
Great point.
All right. And in a world where everybody's kind of off these days, I urge everyone to be a little bit more like Dolly Parton.
What a sweet lady.
She really is. Crisis Party.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. When we get a certain amount of super chats that equals out to a certain amount, it triggers what is called a crisis party, which is what you just experienced. And that included our friend Ian imitating a dead Roberto Jr.
A dying chicken.
A dying chicken.
A
dead chicken. That was the imitation you heard there.
I felt like police was coming. I just seen red.
The colors
the lights changed. Yeah.
I'm from South Central LA, so when I see lights flashing, it gives me,
Question.
PTSD.
Did you like the Shield?
The TV
Shield?
show. I didn't really watch it. I met the lead actor. He's super cool.
Michael Chiklis. Good dude. Good
Cool.
dude. Cool. Dolly Parton defends her duet with Kid Rock. I also like how they make it seem like it's like a recent duet. It's like old.
Right.
But people are like, how dare you do this with this person before he was a bad person?
Kid Rock is literally a Nazi because he doesn't like Bud Light.
It says Dolly Parton knows Kid Rock can be polarizing, but she decided to release Either Or, her duet with the Bud Light blasting personality. Anyways, in an interview with The Hollywood Reporter, the Country Music and Rock and Roll Hall of Fame member said that she could accept Kid Rock for who he is and will feature him in her upcoming album. It says, of course I did that before the controversy that he had, but somebody was talking to me the other day. They said, quote, how could you do this song with Kid? Question is like as a question. She said, I said, hey, just because I love you don't mean I don't love Kid Rock. Just because I love Kid Rock don't mean I don't love you. I don't condemn or criticize. I just accept and love.
Yes.
She's the grandma everybody needs.
She said that even if they planned this duet after he became more controversial, she still would have done it.
That's amazing.
Queen move. And she also denounced cancel culture, saying, I think it's terrible. We all make mistakes. We don't all get caught for it. But also, when somebody makes a mistake, it depends on who they are. That's what God is there for. I'm a faith-based person, so I'm able to see it like that. Everybody deserves a second chance. You deserve to be innocent until proven guilty. Even when you're proven guilty, if God can forgive you, so can I.
Can we just nominate her for sainthood or something? She's fantastic.
We should all go to what is it called, Dollywood?
Yeah.
But also too, she has the wealth to make that stance.
That's fair.
That's it. I
That's a
always
fair
hear
point.
that and from certain people and I think it's I think she's making a great stance and I like what she's saying. However, you have the wealth to say that opposed to someone that still is going on set or going whatever to build to the point that you're at, so they can't say these things even though they mean it. Cause I mean, I get DMs from certain names that you can't say it out loud, and I'm like, you agree with the things I'm saying and all that? They're like, yeah, but they just can't say it because they're still building wealth that this could ruin.
Problem is that will
Right.
work forever. That there is no end to that. If that is the stance that we all take, that people are afraid to speak out until that they've got the capital to do so, that means that system of fear is omnipresent and will never go away.
It definitely is present.
It'll be
It's
there
there for
forever.
sure.
And it's sad, but I also love that she's like unabashedly pro plastic surgery and just doesn't care what people think of her. She's like, yes, I've had a ton of plastic surgery. I look fantastic.
How old is she now?
She's in her
70s at this
yeah.
point. She looks good. She's the pro plastic surgery wholesome grandma of America at this point.
That everybody needs.
Yeah.
Hey, she was my crush when I was a kid, though.
There you go. She's still going strong. So you want somebody? It says she's worth $650 million. God, there must be nice.
Must be nice.
It's like 10 times what Britney Spears is worth.
We need to go to Dollywood.
Yeah.
Trip to Dollywood.
PCC field trip.
To
when?
Dollywood, yes. All right. What would you guys like to see? We have two additional segments here at the beginning. We call them cringe and cute of the day. What would you like to see first? Cringe or cute?
Cute of the day.
Okay, we'll start with the cute of the day here. First things first. This is from Corey Robinson. It's on that screen there. I have them submit their pets. Everybody loves to show us their pets. This is he says this is Katie Luna, aka Katie Bear. She is cool, calm, and contemplating our destruction, just like Mary.
Aww.
Jesus.
That's such
It
a
is
sweet
kind of
cat.
that cat does have a little bit of a 1,000-yard stare.
She's just thinking about world domination,
She is.
Brett.
She is. I like it.
Who said that? That was a cold bar. You said just like Mary. That you do. I noticed though. You do have a real slick comedic jab that just comes out. It's like bam,
Thanks, I think.
bam. No, it's great. I love it.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's do one more here. This is from Bucky Ducky. He says, been away from the farm for a few weeks. This is how my boys treat me when I get back.
Aw.
They don't care.
They're like, oh.
They're so calm. I like that this guy's whole internet persona is ducks.
Oh, wow.
Bucky Ducky.
All of a sudden, I don't know They just got super energetic. I don't know why they just left me.
They're gone. They're just like, look, we're done.
That was... Oh.
He's like, honestly, I'm offended.
I come home after 3 weeks of being gone, and that's how they treat me. They just...
Oh, did you see the castle? Like
There's a
I don't
castle?
know.
I mean, it kind of looks like a castle to me. It's got... it looks castle-esque.
Yeah, it's like a hen house, but
Yeah.
for ducks.
I like it. All right, let's go ahead and watch Cringe of the Day. This is, well, let's just play the clip. It says, misgendered at Taco Bell.
Disgusting. I just went through the Taco Bell drive-thru because I'm a whore for Taco Bell. And do you know how they
Who
greeted
isn't,
me?
right?
I know, right?
They said, "Hello, ma'am." And then after handing me my food, said, "Thank you, ma'am. Have a good day." Bitch, what about me says ma'am? I have a fucking red mullet. Disgusting. I just want
Women can't have mullets, apparently.
No, red mullets.
A red. Oh, it's the red that makes it not women. Okay, all right. I didn't
Change
get it.
that thing to pink.
I'm more surprised that the Taco Bell employees were so polite. They never acknowledged
They
me like that.
Throw your food at you and like.
No,
"Get the
but
hell outta
every
here."
time that I order through the app, I put in a fake name, like Glub Glub, and make them call it out.
See, I
And
told
if they don't
you.
say it, they're misgendering me.
I told you. I know the comedic ones.
I'm so flattered. I didn't think women could be funny.
No, you're funny. You're
Yeah.
funny for sure.
There's just no stand-up.
Okay, I'll stay away from that.
It's like that. Have you ever
This
seen that
poor
video
confused
of
woman, though.
Have you ever seen the video of the guy who's like, he's like, every time I have a one-night stand, I bring him for coffee the next day because I don't want to have to ask them what their name is the next day so that they'll write it on the side of the car.
Hilarious. Hilarious.
But yeah, it's I mean, I think her gender is fairly noticeable there, but you know, I didn't know mullets were gender specific, but I guess red mullets might in fact be for
It's a
women
control
only.
issue. At the
Must
end of the
be.
day, every one of those type women that it's all about control. They want to feel like I made you call me this. I made you hesitate before. It's all about, can I control this person? They don't care.
Making someone uncomfortable on purpose.
That's their whole,
Yeah.
because their thing is typically those people come from a certain background, family, where they've been catered to and coddled by their family, and they want the world to now tiptoe around their triggers.
Yeah.
And if we don't, then they're like, so they have to. I have to make you call me this.
Also, she's smiling and smirking in this video. It doesn't exactly convey being emotionally traumatized by misgendering.
I've also got a sad update for everyone today very quickly. Did you know that Eddie Bauer, the company Eddie Bauer, is changing their logo because Gen Z doesn't know how to read cursive?
Oh. What, is Coca-Cola going to do the same thing?
Probably not, but Eddie Bauer probably has less of the market share. If you see it right there, they added they added the block letters there. You're no longer allowed. You can't read
I don't know
that
what
there.
this is about. I was taught to read cursive and write cursive almost to the point where it was painful
It reminded
in
me
school.
when
So why are they slacking on teaching these kids?
there was a TikTok trend a couple months ago where it was like write your name on a piece of paper without lifting the pen off the paper, and somebody goes, "Bro, that's just cursive." Like,
Yeah.
what are you talking about? Because Gen Z has to turn everything into a trend.
Can we be real? Let's be honest. I've been meaning to say this for a while. Cursive is pointless. Please tell me any point in time other than your signature that cursive, other than signature and laziness of movement with hand, that cursive has come into play and benefited your life. Go.
Okay. When I was taught cursive in school, I think it helped with discipline.
Okay.
Diligence, more of those things like that. But they also tell us that you can write faster if you write in cursive. Not true.
Well, if you're gonna write your, if you ever plan on writing a love letter, you better not be typing it. You better be writing it in cursive. So if anybody here is going to
Love letters, yeah,
yes,
poetry.
love letters. There you go, poetry. Yeah, imagine block letter poetry. There you go.
It just looks nicer. It looks nicer.
So basically, there's no actual reason to use cursive that actually benefits people.
Are there poets that write in just block letters?
Yes.
Does that
Me.
work?
I
Did
do.
you? Okay.
Yes.
All right then. Perfect.
I don't even write. I
Do
just
you write
talk into the
poetry in
phone.
magazine clippings?
There's a $20 super chat here from Erates00 who says,
That's good.
"Justice for Mocha."
She called me a serial killer, in case y'all ain't noticed.
Magazine. So cut the letters out and stuff like that. Imagine doing that in this day and age where like you could just type the letter. Instead, you just risk your fingerprints and your DNA getting on a bunch of pieces of things. You're putting the glue on there.
Cursive is dumb.
Okay, the hot take here.
Cursive is pointless.
Got a hot take here. And there's a $20 super chat here from Erates00. He says, justice for Mocha. No. There will be no justice for Mocha the Derpy Cat today. It doesn't matter how many times you guys tell me to get justice for Mocha the Derpy Cat. There will be no love given to him, or I'm sorry, to her on this show.
You just misgendered a cat.
I did. The Dearly Departed for $20 says, tinfoil moment. The first step is to stop teaching cursive. In a few generations, you'll have kids who no longer read the Declaration or the Constitution. Animal Farm. Only the pigs read. They change what is written.
So, I mean, that's a fair point.
Yeah, like
our founding documents are written in cursive.
Can you get it in print?
I have a
Yes.
a pocket Constitution that is in print.
Yeah.
I can Google it in print right now.
Yeah.
But he admitted it's a tinfoil moment. Like,
but it is also in a lot of ways. Like there's a lot of like, imagine one day the internet is down and you have to go read old text and something like that. A lot of it is to make people less capable of something if they need the skill later. What is the downside of learning it? The better question is, what's the downside of learning it?
If we're in a time where the internet around everywhere is down, my last concern is, do I go look for something in cursive to read? Do we have much bigger concerns if that happens?
What's the downside?
okay, I'm so sorry. I need to call this car repair shop.
What is the downside of learning it? Then how about that? What's the downside?
The downside of learning is you could be using that time in school to be teaching your child or the children something else or something better than, hey, I'm gonna teach you how to write and then do the same exact thing.
They're not teaching you anything in schools these days now though. They're not teaching you anything good. I mean, it is true that they replaced it in a lot of places with like computer programming.
When's the last time your life
Did I use cursive?
No. When's the last time your life dwindled or you seen a shortage in your life because you don't write cursive?
That's a good question. Never.
When's the last time you seen a possible negative in your life that could happen if you don't write something legible for everyone to understand and read?
Usually that's to me because like I write my note cards, and so what's funny is like when I'm doing my notes, right? So segment 1 and 2 notes are always fantastic. They look good. They're written well. When I get to segment 3 notes, bro, they don't look good at all. I mean, that might as well be hieroglyphs by the time we'll be in the middle of the show and I'll be like, yeah, and that's when the Jim Caviezel. What?
Okay, so we're still on the cursive debate right now?
We're still on the cursive debate right now.
I can write cursive. I'm an 80s baby. I just think it's pointless because I hear so many, especially in the conservative side of things, they're taking cursive. What's next? They're going, what? When? You don't even write in cursive. They're taking it. You don't even write in cursive. That's like saying, I mean, to a degree, it's like saying algebra and geometry. It's like
kids ain't passing those classes these days either.
When's the last time you used it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the math thing is funny because when we were in school, they were like, "You better learn how to do this. You're not gonna have a calculator in your pocket every day." And I'm just like,
well, they couldn't have known that.
They couldn't have known that. But you know, technology changes. But the idea is that they don't want you. You shouldn't have to be reliant on the technology for everything.
Did you read the ninja from Pop Culture Planet?
We were too busy arguing about cursive. So the ninja,
he's arguing.
The ninja from Pop Culture Planet says, helps with focus, discipline, and looks nice when disciplined. Like calligraphy, it's art, shows our cultural decline. ... Again, for the men, if you're gonna write a love letter, for the ladies, if you're gonna write a Dear John letter, learn how to write.
I didn't know everyone felt
cursive.
this strongly.
They do apparently. They do.
It's just like olives. Like I didn't know anyone cared that much about
thoughts on olives.
You like olives?
This is a huge debate, and I don't care about olives, but like,
I love green olives. I don't like black olives.
Hold on, wait a minute.
Exactly.
Wait a
that's
minute.
kind of racist.
Wait
am I
a minute.
right?
That was you caught that, right?
Yeah, I caught that.
That was a little butter.
I'm very anti Black Olives Matter.
You're on watch, Fred.
I'm like, I will not post the Black Olive Square.
I don't like olives at all.
No.
Really?
So you'll eat an olive like?
I mean, no.
I will.
I don't mind them.
But you drink, right?
Nope.
What? Wow.
He does not drink. I do.
You don't do olives. No martinis for you.
I don't mind them. I don't know. I didn't know
have them
anyone cared that much.
I mostly eat them. I get like pepperoni. And
People
green
in the
olive pizza.
chat are like dogmatically anti-olive.
I hate olives.
Yep.
Like, I would never
well,
eat
you
them.
know what? It takes one brave person to take a stand. It is what it is. Let's go ahead now that we are 51 minutes into the show, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go ahead and get started, shall we? So, ladies and gentlemen, it came out earlier in the week through an article in Variety that Marvel Studios is in big trouble. They are in a large-scale crisis right now due to a bunch of blunders behind the scenes. There's issues with management. There's issues with the quality of the product. And this is one of the first articles I've seen that seems to be willing to openly admit that everything is not hunky-dory, because usually the mainstream media runs cover for these companies. Like, it's fine.
Okay.
Nothing's bad.
So Kathleen Kennedy is to Star Wars as Kevin Feige is to Marvel.
Yes.
I'm correct?
Except for Kevin Feige is far more competent.
He
or at least
he
was.
is not as widely hated.
No, he's for the most part he was widely beloved for a long
Right.
time because Marvel was successful as was
But
as
with
successful
just the
as it was.
sheer volume of the crap that they're putting out
Yes.
from Marvel, it's like there's no way he can pay attention to that many things at once.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that the biggest parts of this article they talk about is that he's just spread so thin. He's only one man. They were putting out, when 2020 happened, they were putting out so many shows just constantly.
And it's the pandemic, so you're like forced to watch it.
Just take the slop,
in a
eat it, be happy.
straitjacket.
It's just gross. But the other thing, one of the other things we bring up before they get into that is they bring up that they're majorly screwed right now with the Jonathan Majors case because they've essentially organized all of this next phase of Marvel films around Jonathan Majors as Kang, and he was a star on the rise. Or I guess he still is a star on the rise, depending on how this trial turns
Did you
out. Right?
pay much attention to this dispute that came
Yeah,
out?
for sure. I watched the video, the whole.
What do
listened
you
to it.
think of the whole situation?
It's like every other situation, typically like this. Someone sees a possible payday, and they're going for a payday. It doesn't matter.
It's
Sort
not
of
the
a-
girl. It's the state that's pushing these charges. She dropped the charges. This is the state of New York that's doing this.
Well, initially, so the state picks up when these things happen. The state typically picks up whether it be rape, abuse, assault, whatever.
Yeah.
The state will pick it up even if you drop it. But I think initially the reason it was brought up was somehow, some way, money grab, right? Then she lets it go. Now the state picks it up. Well, what's going to come out of it?
This is New York City. They love letting criminals go free. Like, I don't get this.
Except when they're celebrities?
It's crazy. Like, you'd think that the celebrity
know.
of all people would be the one who they'd be like, let the guy go. What good is this for us to prosecute this case?
But the most recent Marvel theatrical release was Ant-Man Quantumania, am
Yes.
I right? And at the end, the big cliffhanger is obviously Jonathan Majors is picking up this whole franchise and trying to save it.
Yeah.
I don't think
As
it's a
the
conspiracy.
main villain.
No, I don't think it's. I just think it's a weird state of being right now, where like New York
Can
City.
you continue the Kang storyline with a guy who's essentially canceled in a lot of people's minds?
Well, and they're saying that they might push away from the Kang character and move it towards Doctor Doom, which they could. I mean, they could do. They could if they wanted. They just replace him. They just when Terrence Howard walked, they just dropped John Cheadle in there and didn't say a damn thing. They were like, they don't even look the same. It's not like they looked for an actor who looked anything like Terrence Howard. It's really funny. I had a friend who was at a Minnesota Timberwolves game recently, and she's like, Terrence Howard's here. I'm like, you should go up and ask him how he feels about leaving Marvel, because apparently that's a very big sore spot with him.
He spoke on it. He spoke on the entire, from the bottom to the top of it. Well, I think, look, Jonathan Majors, I think, is a great actor. However, he's not at a place where they're going to wait. He could still be replaced and no one thinks twice about it.
Yeah,
he's not
it's
at
early
that,
enough.
Yeah, the reason he's even at that point right now, essentially, is because of Creed, because of the hype of Creed, Michael B. Jordan. That whole thing is why it's not like, oh, look at this body of work.
Yeah, he had that. He had Devotion. Devotion didn't do great.
He had
but
other things, and he's good.
And he had a couple of ad campaigns that got. He had the one through the Navy, or was it the Marines or the Navy, or was it the Army? It was the Army campaign that got pulled. He got dropped from CAA before all this happened. So it does feel to me like Marvel's like they kind of feel stuck right now.
I mean, there's another film that he was going to do where he's like a bodybuilder.
That got put on hold too.
Yeah.
Right.
Got delayed.
That was that got put on
Due
hold
to
too.
the strike.
Yes.
supposedly.
That's going to be the go-to excuse, just like the pandemic. Like, it's 2023, and they're like, studios are still recovering from the theaters are still recovering from the pandemic. I'm like, bro, if they ain't coming back to the theater now, it ain't because of the pandemic. They ain't never coming
And
back.
next year it's gonna all be about the strike.
Well, that whole strike thing, and Jonathan Majors, I think, if he gets off, or I hate saying it like that, as if
he gets cleared, if he ends up not getting
if he doesn't get convicted of something, then I think he still do this. I don't know, but he'll still have a career. His career isn't over, because to be honest with you, no one really cares. Here's where it is, and this is probably the part, I don't know if you guys pay attention to it or not. Where it is right now is that the reason it's a big thing is because the black community of women,
Second crisis party. Hold on.
Hold your thought.
Hold your thought. It's always when somebody's about
sorry.
to say something really important.
It's like, let me just interrupt you real quick.
It's like,
I hope those are my people. Said something.
it's never when somebody's just not saying anything. It's always when somebody's about to make an important point. So
They're
we
just
were
waiting
saying-
right there.
Continue
Oh
your
wait,
point.
there's a $20 super chat here from Philip Reed, who says, "When the aliens come down, all they really want to see is the pyramid by the river down in Memphis, Tennessee, made of glass and some brass. I'll knock you on your ass, make your damn jaw drop. What's that? A Bass Pro Shop." Yes, the 10th biggest pyramid in the world is a Bass Pro Shop in Tennessee.
Pyramid?
It's a pyramid. It used to be something else, and it got bought and turned into a Bass Pro Shop.
All right.
Yes.
It's one of the wonders of America.
Yes,
anyway, your point.
To what you were saying about Jonathan Majors and the black
the
community.
reason it got so big is because black women in the black community, they hate that not just Jonathan, but any black celebrity star dates a white woman or marries a white woman.
Okay, I saw this discourse and I was like so puzzled by it.
This is a black community thing, and it's not community, it's a black woman inside of the black community thing, where they go, we have ownership of black men, so we are the ones that they should be with, and not the white woman, the blue-eyed white woman. So they're making it big because they're saying this. They're going, see, Jonathan, see what happens when you mess with them white girls? Yep.
Yeah.
See, we won't do that to you. This is what white girls do.
He's with Megan Good now.
Yeah, he
Well, this
corrected
wasn't-
himself. Well, that was what confused me about so much of the discourse about his accusations. People were not really talking about whether it was true or not. A lot of people were saying he deserves to get false accusations put on him because he's dating outside of his race. And I was like, wow, that's a big claim.
Wow, you just said that.
You
huh?
just said
Like,
that
you
on a
just
public
said that in
platform.
public. Wow, that's crazy.
but mind you, it's not dating outside your race. That with the black girl community, there's levels. So dating outside your race is dating a white, specifically a black
Sure.
man with a white. If she's Mexican or whatever, the outrage is a lot less. It's tears.
Okay.
And it's freaking weird. It's dumb as heck. I done been with every. I have no preference in women, and it's just. I don't understand it. It's stupid. I do understand it, but I don't want to get into it. But it is. What
They
it
were
is.
like, literally ruin this guy's life and throw him in prison because he deserves it for dating a white woman. That's literally what they were saying.
They will 100% be backing that.
So
Just like
weird.
Kevin Samuels, that whole thing. You got Vivica Fox and different people like
R.I.P.,
happy
by
he
the way.
died. They're happy he died because he was saying things that didn't paint black women in the best light.
Thoughts on Kevin Samuels?
Kevin Samuels.
Are you a fan?
Oh, me? Yeah, I like Kevin Samuels.
As somebody who sees all of the kind of red pill manosphere guys as what they are for most people, which is entertainment, meaning that I'm not taking
For the most part, yeah.
I'm not taking these people as like courses to watch, but watching him take calls and roast people
On Instagram Live.
is absolutely something I've spent more than a little bit of time like
So
going down
funny.
the rabbit hole. But then it's like guilty, or it's like guilty pleasure humor. I'm like, listen to him. Like just destroy this poor lady who doesn't really understand what he's about, as he kind of.
But they're choosing to get on the calls with
but
him.
I'm just saying that it makes me laugh. I like, and he's in his suit and like every time because you can't see the other person, you picture the other person in like Cookie Monster pajamas because of the way that he's like beating up.
Oh,
beating him up.
you must wasn't watching the videos.
No, I know. I see the ones where it would just be the clip of him. I would never.
Oh
see
no,
the...
we're watching where you correct me if I'm wrong. Where the girl and him they're in the same video.
Okay, the ones I was like,
Yeah,
was when
he
he
would-
was taking calls. Like these were. Like,
No,
calls where, like-
he would go on Instagram Live. We're all talking about the same thing. He
Yeah.
would go on Instagram Live, and he would only talk to black women.
Okay.
If you called
I
and you were
couldn't-
not a black woman, he would hang up on
I
you.
couldn't even see the person he was talking to in this, but it was just really, really funny because it was just like they would try to win, and he would just.
It's because typically what like he'll say and what I mean it is what it is. Like it was basically like basic average looking women.
Yeah.
And average
Or
and
that
a
they're
lot of people.
overestimating their worth.
He said like, "What do you bring to the table?" And they would say things like, "Oh, my 3 kids,"
Jeez.
things like that.
He's like,
I
that's
bring-
We're
not
getting
the
a little
flexi-
off topic.
Okay,
I
we got
bring the table.
We got a $20 super chat here from Dat Pie over there. Says, it feels surreal that WWE is going to have a pay-per-view in the capital of Saudi Arabia tomorrow, considering the utter bedlam happening 1,000 miles northwest. Brett, I hope you're you're hoping for LA Knight to finally dethrone Roman. Yeah. Yeah, and that's the craziest thing is like I think Saudi Arabia, the country of Saudi Arabia paid WWE like $1 billion or something, like several $1 billion over so many years for shows, and they go there and they love the old wrestlers, so they always drag out the corpses of like the old wrestlers because the royal family loves like Hulk Hogan and all the old guys. But look, I would prefer it for decorum's sake if Roman Reigns lost the title at WrestleMania. That's my personal feeling. Whether to LA Knight, to Cody Rhodes, to whoever, but I would rather he lost it at WrestleMania. But Roman's been
You've
great.
been seeing a new meme with Vince McMahon doing this.
Yeah,
crying.
It's for everything too. It's
It's
like
so
it's
funny.
like
What was it like gaming with the boys during COVID?
the new one I saw was like Dad, what was it like playing GoldenEye and N64 with your friends on a Friday night?
Oh my!
Anyways, guys, so back to topic. So it's not just Jonathan Majors that's causing problems for everything right now. We've also got the fact that they talk a lot about how the behind-the-scenes structure of the company was just an absolute mess during COVID. Basically, after Phase 3 of the MCU ended, they referenced Victoria Alonso, and I tweeted about this. I was like, dude, that feels like 10 years ago. Now, the Victoria Alonso scandal about her getting fired for promoting a non-Marvel film that she produced.
Oh yeah.
Remember
Well, no,
that?
she just like showed up to a red carpet.
Yes, but she produced this film and then she got fired. And they talk about whether was it bad visual effects? Was that the fault of her? Was that the fault of bad scripting and bad planning? And basically, the picture that you get painted when you read this article is that for as organized as the company feels, it really is kind of a disaster behind the scenes, and you wonder how anything gets done when nothing seems to be structured. They were doing TV shows without showrunners.
Wow.
That's insane.
That's crazy.
That's like they were letting like executive producers run these shows. They were just letting executives, not creatives, executives were running these shows, and then wondering why nothing was working out. And on top of that, they said like one episode of She-Hulk cost like $25 million to make.
And it looks that bad.
And the budgets on these shows, $250 million for something with no box office return. You're not getting $225 million worth of Disney Plus subscriptions. You've stalled out. You're not growing anymore. And the budgets have ballooned on all of these films. Everything is being produced at this scale that isn't conducive with actual financial return.
Exactly.
It's not. Especially since, as far as I know, and maybe somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, Disney doesn't go to pay-per-view model after. It goes straight to Disney Plus. A lot of these other studios, they go to like a pay-per-view model after it leaves the theaters, right? Like you can go pay VOD somewhere. I believe most Marvel stuff just goes straight to Disney Plus. I don't believe it goes pay VOD.
No,
where would it
that
go?
was the old. That's like the old timing. That's like blockbuster days. The way that used to work.
But still, no. A lot of movies now are still getting that pay VOD release, meaning that like you don't just go straight from theaters to streaming. So John Wick 4 isn't even on streaming yet. You can pay VOD it. And I believe it's coming to streaming this week or something like this. But like a lot of movies, so they have that streaming window where then you can go buy it or rent it for $19.95 on Amazon Prime. or on one of these other services, right?
Okay.
So you can make up part of your budget that way. But if they're not doing that for these Disney Plus releases, they're just going straight to Disney Plus. And if it's a show like She-Hulk and it costs $200 million to make, where are you making your money back on something like that?
Right. If people aren't going to the theater, getting that ticket sale, if they're not selling physical products like DVDs, etc., if they're not doing actual legit pay-per-view, essentially that's what the whole strike thing is, what you're saying. And where is the money coming from? Netflix, Amazon, Disney Plus, etc. That's where all this whole strike thing is coming from too.
Well, everyone's talking about residuals. I'm like, what residuals? They don't know.
They're
There's no
thinking
way-
about
there's
Bob
no-
Iger being like sitting on a giant pile of gold coins that he's hoarding away from all the actors and the writers. He could give them more, but he's actually sitting on a pile of losses.
I like the idea that Bob Iger is
great
actually
point.
Scrooge McDuck.
He's literally Scrooge McDuck sitting on a pile of money. That's what they think of him.
They want residuals. I'm like, for what? There's no commercials.
Where's it?
There's no ads.
And mind you, I understand the strike, and I understand and I got friends that's there and da. But at the end of the day, I believe most of these actors don't understand how business works with residuals, with ad revenue, with tangible sales of.
Yeah.
They don't understand where this money they used to make once at a time came from.
Yeah.
And they don't understand the consumer, that you're not going to make the consumer that once used to hate waiting for commercials to go off and hated that they had to get out their house and go to a theater. Those people don't want to go back to that. In order for you as an actor to make the money that you think you're supposed to make of the old days, we have to go back to the old times of ad revenue, etc., the things that we as consumers do not want to go back to in order for you to get that money. You can't get that money. There's no way to prove that you're the reason we're watching Netflix, a subscription-based thing. How can I prove that The Rock or whoever is the reason? You're able to do that before because we could actually look at the data. You can't do that with subscription-based platforms.
You can look at minutes, but minutes doesn't equal dollars. It all comes from this. Your 100 minutes from you here is the same as 100 minutes from me watching it on something else because I paid the same $15.99 to watch it. It's not financially viable to look at that way.
And how can we say who made them? What are they watching?
Yeah. Also, it's really funny because when I think about it, I'm like, you know who's not complaining? The ones who hit it big and hit like a network procedural that got like 10 seasons.
Abbott Elementary.
They're making bank off the residuals on your average Friends. The people who made Friends, the people who made all of the NCISs, all these shows, the Criminal Minds, all the ones that get replayed on Ion television every week for hours at a time. They get blocks of television. Psych, all these shows that are still getting played back these days, they're going to get residuals because there's ads on those because they're watching them on terrestrial television.
Exactly.
And they don't get it. It doesn't make any sense to them. And Marvel just doesn't seem to have any clue how to fix it because they've been watered down with so much content with no actual story planning behind all of it. And it doesn't seem to be getting better. It doesn't. I don't see where they're talking about how they're going to pare back the budgets on these things. Sure, I guess. Put out less content. Sure, I guess. But then it's just going to seem like they're giving up. Like, I think to the average person, they're just going to wonder, why is less stuff coming out? I don't think that there's a way to win themselves back. And the one thing that I think they could do is I would like to see them move away from Marvel entirely, the Disney Marvel, and put a good 3 or 4 years into doing nothing but the 20th Century Fox properties that they bought, meaning the Fantastic Four, the X-Men, Deadpool.
We've got two $20 ones. First, Jake Turbin said, normally can't catch you guys live, but I'm taking a break for work and I'm in a great mood and wanted to share the love. God is good.
Thank you.
Thank you. And then Dreamcast Knight said, Jonathan Majors, why did they pick him to be Kang? Were they having I'm taking it back moment? Or do you guys think they were just that dumb? What were they going to do with China? he was Kang's LMAO.
Yeah, I mean, that is an interesting thing given that Chinese box office does tend to frown on
Black superheroes.
yeah, like what they did with Black Panther and the poster, the
Finn.
advertising for Finn for Star Wars. I mean, the thing is, though, he's still going to be a villain, so it's not like he's going to be the main character on the poster anyways. He's still going to be an omnipresent character in the movie, but he's not necessarily none of them, and I don't mean this as a slight on him or any of these new actors, but none of them other than, I guess, Paul Rudd, if they're still going, because they're discontinuing Guardians of the Galaxy, as far as I know. They don't really have a Robert Downey Jr. They don't have a Scarlett Johansson. And that's the other thing they talk about. One of the things that was floated at this Marvel retreat was bringing back the old Avengers,
Yeah,
which
I heard that.
if I was them, I would just be like, like I would be laughing because they can't seem to do without them. The base level pay for Robert Downey Jr. in Iron Man 3 was $25 million. And that was in 2013, I believe. So if you think you're going to get him for less than that with inflation, that's not going to happen, ladies and gentlemen. He's not going to come back for less than that. He doesn't need to. He finally got his star on the Walk of Fame. He's living good. He's living large. He hasn't had the same success outside of Marvel, but he doesn't need to have great success, especially if he's tired of playing the character, if he's done with playing the character.
You know what people like to watch and come back and watch, no matter if it's a bunch of it or not? Good stuff.
Yes.
Good writing, good directing.
How would you fix
good
it?
casting?
How would you, like, if somebody gave you the how would you fix a problem like with Marvel or Disney? How would you fix something like this?
First and foremost, take all the woke out.
Yeah.
I don't even if it just looks like it's about to be woke, like I want this female superhero. Sorry, not today. We'll
Men
do this.
only, ladies.
So we're axing Brie Larson.
You're out of here. But seriously, what I would do would be take all the woke out. If it doesn't make sense on paper, it doesn't make sense on camera, and just stop asking. Essentially, what they're doing now, Marvel and everything. They're essentially asking for permission from the consumer. This is why they put these Megan Thee Stallion, all this stuff. This is their way of saying, hey, are we good now? Is this okay? Are we?
I forgot about Megan Thee
Are
Stallion.
we good?
I forgot about that.
They have to stop making woke, because at the end of the day, when did things start getting bad in that realm? In the realm of entertainment and film is when all the woke stuff started. I work on a show in LA. Well, you never know now because my videos freaking spin a lot, so I don't know who sees my stuff. So when the strike is over, I have no clue what job's gonna give me back, but whatever. I work on this show called The Sex Lives of College Girls. And that show is like, they got like I'm talking from the LGBTQ
That's Mindy Kaling's thing, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's slightly funny, and the cast they're cool, but they have to put all this woke stuff in it. They have to, even the crew, to the most part, they almost got to hire like certain, if you see the crew that they hired there, I'm like, what's happening right now? You got to take the woke out. Nobody wants to watch it.
Yeah.
Look at Top Gun.
Yeah.
Top Gun destroyed because no woke.
I think there's more to that, actually,
Yeah,
because I loved Dead Reckoning. I thought it was great. I thought it was a great baseline action movie, and it didn't.
What's there? I don't know.
It was It was the new Mission Impossible movie.
Esai Morales.
He was one of my favorite parts of it. He's another great actor.
Great actor
who's been working because I love old procedurals, and he's been in everything. He's one of those guys you've seen, kind of like a Carlos Gomez, who you've seen in like a guest role and
Ozark.
everything. So you see him finally get to like a big budget picture, and it's fantastic to see. But that movie didn't do the numbers that Top Gun Maverick did. Had the same star, didn't have anything. It had a strong female character that still had to learn from the main character and didn't win all the time. It did the Indiana Jones, like the character from the new What was her name?
Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
No, I know the act. What was the character's name?
The
crappy character from the new
Whatever
Indiana
her
Jones.
name
It did that character better than the actual Indiana Jones movie did, and it didn't do anywhere near the money that Top Gun Maverick did. I think that was American patriotism. I think there was a callback to American patriotism there. I think that they got an audience of older folks who don't mind seeing a movie weeks after it came out, meaning that the reason that movie had such strong holds week after week is because if my dad, like I use my dad as like a barometer for like what's actually like catching in the public, because my dad went to see Joker. My dad doesn't go to see movies in the theaters that much, but it caught public interest. So my dad went to see Top Gun Maverick like weeks after it came out because they don't mind going later, which translates to better box office because then the drops week to week are smaller, which is why it inches its way to $1 billion over time. And I think patriotism had a lot to do with that.
Well, in order to, in this time, day and age, answer this question, what is one thing that you could guarantee cannot be a part of something to consider it patriotic?
Say that again. Like, what do you mean? Like something that can't be in it?
Yeah, to be considered patriotic.
I don't even know how to answer the question.
It's a weird question on my end.
Yeah.
But I'll say it this way. You cannot nowadays, you cannot have a patriotic this or that with woke in it.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, what you're saying and what I'm saying is right on the same thing. Yes, patriotic, but also too, take woke out. They took woke out, they left it patriotic, and it boomed.
There wasn't a stupid airhead executive in Top Gun Maverick who was asking, how do we get 16-year-old girls to go see this?
Because they don't want
that's
to
not
go
the
see
target
Top Gun
audience.
Also, I think like woke is kind of, as much as I hate that word, synonymous with modern day Marxism, and they hate America. They don't like the West anyways, so there's no point in actually appealing to them because there's a lot of the people that are from the West that buy into that are ashamed of being from the West anyways. They're ashamed to be from here. So there's no point in trying to make a patriotic movie that appeals to them because they don't have patriotism.
But also think about Top Gun. It did big in the theater. Like so many people, the theater's dead. The theater. I go to the theater isn't, first off, the theater is my therapeutic place. I love it, right? But I don't matter in this regard. But the theater, it's not that it's dead. People will go and pay and watch and leave their house for good stuff. If you're going to go and deal with someone talking through the movie, if you're going to go dealing with the lines, overpriced concessions, getting in your car, getting dressed up, if you're going to do all that and deal with all that, you want whatever you went out to do to be good. And when it's not good, you don't do that no more. It's point blank period. If it's not good, people will get up and go see stuff.
It's why it thrives, like that type of content gets by on TV, because you feel like you've invested less of your time and money if you just watch something crappy on Netflix, as opposed to like when you leave a theater and you're like, wow, I'm actively angry that I spent all this money on gas. Ain't cheap, folks. I had to drive to see this movie.
I like this guy. Yeah. He gets it.
Like and I'm gonna be honest, most of the movies we saw this year didn't bother. Like they didn't leave. I didn't leave the theater angry. They weren't, like, most of them weren't great. But I didn't leave the theater angry.
Except with Barbie.
Even then, yeah. But that's different for us because then we get to review it. So I'm like, we get to go and dunk on this movie now. So, but that's a little bit different. But there was no movie that I went and saw that I
Sound of Freedom.
Love Sound of Freedom. Loved it.
I thought it was mediocre.
But I'm like one of the world's biggest Jim Caviezel fans.
I love Jim Caviezel. Count of Monte Cristo is one of my favorite movies. Person of Interest is my favorite TV show of all time.
What was lacking with it, you think?
Of what?
With Sound of Freedom.
Well, it's not what was lacking. I think it was. I enjoyed that it made a movie the way movies are supposed to be made. It was done well. Everything was done the way you were supposed to make a movie. My issue with it was that it wasn't anything like nothing about it made me go it was basic. It was very basic. For it to get as much reviews as it did, rave reviews, I was like, no. I just think that it was a bunch of people on the right side, on our side, saying, oh, it's either a Christian movie or it's a anti whatever movie.
I'll defend that a
the
little bit.
The subject matter is definitely part of how people responded to it, because it's not something that the rest of Hollywood is really willing to touch.
I don't think it's the subject matter. I think what blew that movie up was people on the right going, because mind you, before that happened, it was already Jim Caviezel was already doing the Christian talk and stuff for the last 2 years. All that. Then before that, it was a lot of the child stuff that's going on and all that. And you put that together with the movement of conservative movement or whatnot, and then put a movie with the people.
Well, I think it was the articles that got written against it that drove that more than anything.
Same thing with Joker too.
Yeah,
like
it
the
was media.
scaremongering about Joker in 2019, about like there's gonna be a shooting.
The Joker would have never made $1 billion without the media making it out to be this evil film that was going to.
So people will just go out of spite at that point.
Yeah.
Or they're just
or curiosity.
They would. My dad would have never seen Joker if people in the
Yeah.
media weren't like, if you go see this movie, a bunch of incels are going to show up and
again, I'm happy they did Sound of Freedom. My thing is just that I'm like, nothing new was brought to me. I've known about all this stuff since I've been like 18 years old.
I thought they did
Like,
a great job with such a minimal budget. Like, I thought the cinematography for a movie on a $14 million budget looked great. I thought it looked fantastic.
I agree.
There was some great CGI. Like, there was some really, really good CGI. Like, the shots of them that are like deadpan center in the middle of the street at like dusk. It's CGI, but it's so well done that you can't tell. And that's very hard to do these days for people on a budget that small. Marvel can't seem to do it on budgets 3 sizes that big these days. So I thought they did a really good job. Also, I think the part where where the pay it forward method, that it got audiences involved in a way that was more than just the movie. It became bigger than just the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I would say, at least I would just say this to end it on this part, is that the thing I really just was like,
Crisis Party! Oh,
Thank you.
We love it. We love it.
it comes out of nowhere. It just comes from nowhere.
We're not phased by it anymore, clearly.
I'm dead inside. I'm dead inside.
Yeah.
I'm dead.
I'm dead inside. Go on.
What was it? We were talking
You were
about Sound of
talking
Freedom.
about you said you were you were saying.
I think that my only issue with Sound of Freedom is that it makes it seem as if, for people that are on the right or center right, whatever you want to call it, it makes it feel as if any movie or film we do has to have some type of narrative like that for it to, one, be successful, or for our people to even look at it. And I don't want to keep seeing that type of film from people like us. Like, just make a film, and just, I want to be happy knowing that people like us made it and we didn't cancel people for being like us.
Would you have felt that way about that movie if there wasn't the media hoopla surrounding it, calling it that? If you didn't know it, okay, so let's rephrase. You don't know anything about the director. You only know the actors from their previous work, and you watch that movie. I don't believe you would look at that movie and see it as a right-wing movie if you're not already politically inclined.
I didn't even know who the director. Only thing I knew was Jim Caviezel.
So if the media wasn't telling you that this is a right-wing QAnon movie, and all you see is a movie about child trafficking,
I didn't hear none of that. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
So like the way it was portrayed in the media is what drove that narrative. It wasn't the film itself. That's just a movie about child trafficking that could have maybe had a few more twists and turns around the way, but it's a movie about an actual person.
When you say
It's a true
media,
story.
are you, because
mainstream media painted that movie?
Because I'm thinking of like the David Harris's, the Ben Shapiro's, the these people.
I'm talking about the mainstream
Like
outlets.
Rolling Stone's hit piece.
So like I didn't
against
see any of those.
Yeah.
So their articles drove a lot of the right-wing curiosity, because those people you're talking about, the David Harris's, the Ben Shapiro's, wouldn't have felt the need to talk about it if the mainstream presses that they were drawing contrary
I see the
opinions
point you're
to,
making.
is that they are it's its own system. It's literally almost its own flow.
No, it's a solid point.
Yeah.
That's a solid
So
point.
to me, it's weird. Like, I don't think the movie would have done and it did. It was like one of the top 20 highest grossing movies of the year, but it wouldn't have done that without both sides playing into their own
That's a solid
narratives about what the film was. If you just went into that movie without knowing what the ecosystem of both the right and left media was, you just see a movie about a guy who's a slightly sensationalized movie about a guy who saved a kid from a child trafficker.
No, 100%.
So-
I didn't even know what it was about when I
Yeah.
because it was very vague when it.
Yeah.
If you really think about it, even the previews, the trailer, and it was like, I was like, what is it? So what is it about? Is this a movie? I thought it was a documentary at first.
Yeah, it's kind of filmed like the stock shots of the city.
Yeah, like I didn't understand. Was this a movie
Yeah.
or a documentary? You know how people be like, oh, this film and it's a documentary. I didn't know what it was.
Yeah. All right, let's do some super chats.
Okay, Chris Chan said, "Are you excited for the new Planet of the Apes movie?"
The trailer was fine. I don't think it needed one after War for the Planet of the Apes, and no Andy Serkis is kind of a bummer. It is what it is.
I don't care about the franchise, really.
Yeah.
But
Me
are
either.
you?
I could give two.
If you want to watch a funny video that actually shows you just how difficult acting actually is, watch the behind-the-scenes videos of Andy Serkis and Woody Harrelson acting together in that movie without the CGI. So you just see Woody Harrelson.
I did see that, yeah.
Woody Harrelson acting really serious and Andy looking really serious, acting like a monkey with like
I saw
CGI markers all over him. It shows you why they get paid the big bucks.
Shane H. Wilder said, "Happy Friday, all. Let's go. And don't worry, Mary. I was late to work myself. 2 major wrecks, backed up traffic for an extra hour. It happens."
Damn. Let's do one more.
He
Let's
also
do
said,
one more.
"Don't
and then
worry,
move on."
Brett. If you make the gaffe, I have a specific set of skills. I will clip you and I will meme you."
He does. He likes to. He turned my my "Let's Go" into a video
Let's
meme.
go?
So the other day, somebody left a super chat about.
They said someone should start a kosher hot dog stand called Ann's Franks. And Brett said, "Let's go."
I didn't know how. It was,
And then he was like, "Wait."
You caught it
Never
halfway,
mind.
and then you was like,
yeah, halfway. All right. Let's go ahead and let's talk about you and your career a little bit here. So you've been working in Hollywood in the industry for how long?
as a stripper for no.
Perfect.
That would be a cool backstory.
Right? Yeah. No, I started, oddly enough, I started out doing stand-up comedy.
Okay.
So I started that, I want to say, I'm 38 now, so I started that when I was about 27.
Okay. What was your go-to in stand-up comedy?
Oh, I'm not going to, what do you mean go to?
What type of humor did you do?
I mean, I didn't get it. I wasn't in it long enough to have a one style, but typically storytelling.
Okay.
So it was very much more so, here's the story of what went down, and here's some things that happened within it.
Well, that's perfect for being a director then.
Oh, very, very much so. I did that for like 2 years. I've
Were you relatively
I was-
successful at it by your own estimation?
well, I mean, look at it this way. There's guys on the Mothership, Joe Rogan's
Yeah.
podcast, and Brian, what's his name? And these people like brung me up on my first ever open mics and were like, "Yo, why didn't you like?" Because I came late. They're like, "You should have came in the beginning. You like I killed the room." But that's not how comedy stand-up works. It takes like years, man. So based on the question you're saying, I did well, but I didn't love it. It didn't give me it gave me nothing. It just, I can be good at anything I do because I try to be good at everything I do. So, but it didn't give me anything. That's why I moved into videography, because the whole goal was to get into Hollywood, making films and all that, and I was just using different angles to get in. So I started doing videography for like Chris Brown's choreographers and Usher choreographers, and then from there I moved back to LA because I'm from LA, but I was living in San Diego at the time, and went back to LA. And when I went there, I started doing background acting as a way to get into Hollywood.
So you're going to be the one they're going to use AI to create CGI for now and just screw you out of your
Copy and
paycheck.
paste.
That was like 7 years ago. But yeah, I did background acting, and after I did that so that I can learn what's going on, because I know I don't come from a rich family or I come from South Central LA, and I knew most things I was going to have to do on my own. Learn to edit, learn camera, learn lighting, 3-point hair light, learn everything, because I didn't have the connections for people to do it or money to pay people to do it. So I did all that, and after I made a couple of short films, I became a production assistant in Hollywood, and that's currently what I do now. But in the meantime of that, making short films on the side, I actually got a short film that I just submitted to Sundance with Taryn Manning. Yep. And I should know by this month if it got accepted, which it should. But that's what I'm doing. The goal is to do that. But then COVID came and did what 2020 did, which made me start using Instagram a lot, because I wasn't really using it. And once that happened, I started talking about the Black Lives Matter stuff and the rioting and the COVID I'm talking everything, and my following just started blowing up until I got like super shadow banned. crazy shadow ban.
Yeah.
Dumb, crazy. Like I was about to lose my account like 57
Instagram will do
times.
that to you.
Oh my God.
I think when I looked up your name this time to double check everything, I had to type out the full name, which is usually a sign that you're shadow banned. If like you type in director and then the first letter and it doesn't come up, especially with a larger following, that means you're probably pretty
Typically
shadow
it comes up within the first couple of letters. People typically find it, but I recently just got a message on Instagram like a couple of days ago saying I'm demonetized on Reels. I'm like, you haven't been monetizing Reels forever.
Yeah.
Like, wait, does that mean like people can't do the thing where they like, because you can do the thing on Reels where they tip you, like people can tip you, like they'll always facilitate a way for you to for somebody else to pay you. They just don't want to pay you themselves.
Yeah, well, you still get that, but with that, I started doing that, and then I started doing. I think one of the big things was I did a Michael Myers mask and walked through during COVID, and securities follow me like, you can't wear that mask. I'm like, but you said I got to wear a mask. It's on the front of your store, so that blew different things. And I guess it made me like a. And I hate the word. I think we all hate the influencer word because it seems like you're trying. I wasn't trying. I was just talking and frustrated.
Yep.
That blew up to wind up getting wind with Gina Carano with everything that's going on with her, talking to different people with like Dallas and Bonfire Legend and different things and meeting different people. And then that led me to making some ill short films during the pandemic, during when it was shut down. Like I had everybody coming unvaccinated, no mask, making short films when they were telling us not to, and we was like, what's happening? Yeah. And we even had big like conservative film industry. Now mind you, when I say conservative, I'm politically conservative, but in life, like I'm not all the way. I'm like right after middle. This is middle. This is right. I'm like right here.
Right there.
You know what I mean? I'm not crazy over there, but I just started doing these mixers, me and my friend, and had all these people in the film industry that's on our side come to these mixers that were like secret because the police found out. They were like, you're a super spreader. And this is in LA. In case you don't, LA and New York was the strictest, craziest.
They were like doing police raids on parties.
Yes, we were out there undercoverly doing it. And when Gina Carano got canceled with everything, we started doing it, calling it the rebellion. Yep. And that's how we kept doing it. And if Gina found out, she reposted, started saying things, and then people just started kind of coming together with things. And that's kind of where I got to. That's how I met Samira through that, and so many other people. But right now, essentially, when the strike is over, I'm like, I just want to go back and make some money normally. Yeah. But also too, I want to still make films with my people, not just my people, with everyone, but just know that if I'm running it, you know that you're not getting canceled simply because you support Black Lives Matter. Oh, you support Black Lives Matter? That's cool. Are you trying to do anything to hinder us? No. Are you having an issue with us? No. Let's work. It's business. Let's work. Okay, you support Trump? Cool. I do too. Come in. Let's work. You're going to know if I'm involved in it, no one's getting their livelihood hindered because of their political affiliation or things of that nature. You know what I mean?
Scary that type of open-minded approach is so rare these days. It shouldn't be that rare, but it is. What was the response from Hollywood, and like the mainstream Hollywood, when you started really, really speaking out? Did you get a lot of messages of people basically on the down low saying, I can't say this, but I support what you're saying? Yeah. I mean, yeah, I got down low ones, and then you have the ones that, you know, they'll kind of like slide in, follow you real quick, and you don't even realize it until you just be looking, you know, some days
they like your post and unlike it.
Wait, does that happen?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
For me.
But wait, so why do they unlike it? So that people can't see that they liked it?
Well, for me, what it wasn't the like, it was the comment, then remove the comment.
Mm-hmm.
Why would they remove the comment? Just because they didn't want to get seen by the people?
A lot of people don't have a spine. That's why. But did you feel a particular pressure before you started becoming more outspoken in 2020? Like you couldn't speak your real views? Or was it just like a pressure point when it was the lockdowns and, you know, the summer of love and all of these things that made you feel like you needed to speak out about those things?
Well, no. So initially, before 2020, I let everyone that I work with know that I voted for Trump. Mm-hmm. Whatever set I'm on, I used to tell, oh yeah, they'd be like, you voted for Trump? I'm like, yeah. They were like, oh, no one tried to cancel me, or they'll probably be like, why? And then move on. Like no one gave a damn really. But then when 2020 came, it just, the whole Floyd thing is what started the whole blah, blah, blah craziness. And the thing is that in 2020, after 2020, that realm, you literally will get fired in Hollywood if you, let's say I had a Trump case on my phone and I was working on set and I left my phone in the trailer or whatever, and
Whose phone is this?
Yeah, and they find out it's mine. I won't be asked back to work the next day.
That's insane.
Like, this is not even, this is a
It's funny
fact.
because even before 2020, people put on a public front like they cared about that, like they were scandalized by someone voting for Trump. But you're telling us now that behind the scenes, no one cared. Like, it wasn't that big of a deal.
Well,
before 2020.
yeah,
but
before
then it kind of
2020.
broke people's brains, that series of events with the lockdowns, with George Floyd, then J6, and the vaccine mandates. That series of events really shook some people.
Yeah.
And they weren't the same after the fact.
Yeah, I mean, it to be honest, even before, it was before the J6 thing, it was so crazy in Hollywood. Just like the vaccine thing was ridiculous. The last people to let go and drop the whole COVID stuff was literal Hollywood studios.
It was a racket. There was too much money to be made with testing, too much money to be made with.
Well, it went like it teetered. At first, it was money being made, and then it started being money lost because you got to keep paying for all this stuff. You got to pay for tests, pay for COVID compliance officers, pay for this.
But the companies that were probably pushing for it to continue, there's too much money to be made with tests. Selling testing kits, and then they have to have that. What was the story we talked about with the lady who wasn't liked on set because she was a COVID tester?
Yeah, she was a production assistant whose sole responsibility was swabbing people's noses for COVID.
And she's like, people didn't like me.
And she felt disrespected. By
they're
the
terrible.
crew.
We hate. I can't stand them people. The COVID.
Why would anyone like them?
All the COVID compliance people on set, because they're annoying as heck. If you haven't been, they will. If you're mad, mind you, I didn't work for almost 2 years because I said I'm not getting vaccinated because I'm not vaccinated, and I said I wasn't going to wear a mask on set, and I turned down plenty of jobs because like I said, I'm a production assistant on set, but I'm not just like some random one. I'm like they hey, we want to put the team together, get this guy for sure. And when you're on set, you don't wear your mask. If your mask is like this, put your mask up. Wait, they'll like chase you down.
Yeah.
I remember the Tom Cruise meltdown because he was like, he had the meltdown because the guys didn't have their masks up, but it's because he was also the producer on the movie. He's like, look, we're risking getting shut down and losing, and it ended up costing them too, because Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning cost like $350 million to make because of all the extensions because of COVID and stuff like that. It just added on to the budget like that. So
the actors didn't even. Here's the crazy part. Two things. One, let's be clear. Majority of these actors did not get vaccinated. They're all bullshit. They didn't get vaccinated. That's one. Other thing
The other
thing in Hollywood, they have majority of the actors have fake vax cards. Fake vax cards. Fake vax cards. Right. That's one. Two. On set, the actors almost never wore a mask. They made everyone wear it, and they were just walking around having conversations.
All the crew, the peons have to
all the peasants.
Just like all the people at the Met Gala, all the people with the masks on that were carrying people's the back of somebody's dress.
Yeah, I'm watching big name actors just hanging out, not wearing, but then they'll get mad. I'll tell you this, I ain't gonna say who, but on one show, an actor, we were talking, and she was saying she's doing comedy, and I said something about Joe Rogan. I was like, oh yeah, like this one guy, he was on Joe Rogan. She goes, you watched Joe Rogan? She said it loud. All the actors, everybody looked, and she was like, he's misogynistic, this and that. And I was like, and everyone's looking like, and I'm like, and I just literally did the Homer Simpson art. And literally did that, walked backwards and dipped off.
Joe Rogan, I consider Joe Rogan, Theo Vaughn, and Jordan Peterson to be litmus tests for how mentally nuts somebody actually is. If they have like if you can look at somebody like Joe Rogan and have like an absolute meltdown, or a Jordan Peterson have an absolute meltdown, you might be too far gone to be. It's just they're too. Like, I don't look at a guy who tells you to make your bed and have a meltdown.
Can you tell us what her name rhymes with?
I'll tell you this.
Let us guess.
I'll tell you this because I don't care. It was on that show, Sex Lives of College Girls.
Okay, makes sense.
It was one of the key actors of that show.
It's funny, I saw backlash to that show because the love interests of the diverse female cast are usually white men. They were, like, a lot of the woke fans of that show were mad about the fact that their love interests were white men.
The woke fans is hilarious.
I saw that discourse online. It was pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's funny though. Here's the craziest part. It was a good show to work on. If it wasn't for that part, it's a good show to work on. The people are cool. Here's the crazy part is that a lot of Hollywood actors are cool, really cool on the surface. The surface is a mother, because it's not who they are. You know who someone is when they disagree, when you disagree on something. How they respond tells you who they are. What's the saying? When someone shows you who they are, believe them. Or tells you who they are, believe them. That's the thing about actors. Their thing is to make look, but then once they don't like what you say or do, they'll get you fired like that.
Did you lose friends from
I lost
becoming...
friends, family. I've had people, you know how many coons and N-words I was called in my DMs from black and white people? Wow. Black and white people. I had friends hit me. What do you do? I had people stop following me saying there's no love here. There's business people with like big names. Their people said, nah, we ain't messing with them. We not rocking with them. Lost like so many. I've had beef with, not beef, but crazy arguments with close aunties that's like a mother to me. Had terrible, to the point it's like, yo, all because of my stance. I'm like, yo, I have friends that are liberal that I'm like, I don't care, we cool, let's go get a hamburger. But the other way around, it doesn't come back that way, except for a few. There's a few, but yeah, it was rough.
I wonder if Renee Rapp is related to Leanne Rapp. Pauline Chalamet is Timothy Chalamet's sister. I did not know that.
Oh.
I suppose that makes perfect sense.
Yeah. She because she's on that show.
Yeah. I was just looking at the cast right now, trying to think of who I
take a gamble.
I don't know. I mean, there's enough names on here that I feel like any asking him to rhyme them would give away who it is. But yeah, so it's
Shanae Schnapp.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just very cool because like when I was watching your videos in 2020, it was very cool to see somebody who was outspoken within the industry, because the image I've always had, and I've learned a lot more since, and I've gotten to interact with a lot more people in the industry now since starting this podcast, but was that, you know, it's a culture of fear. It's a culture of preventing people from speaking out through fear of loss of future work, fear of ostracization, all of these things, which is not something I was ever interested, especially not as somebody who is very libertarian in most of his beliefs. Like, I've always find funniest about it is, like, to me, I always said, like, being a little bit narcissistic isn't a bad thing, because if somebody's more focused on themselves, they're not going to be as worried about you. Like, well, if you're focused on you, like, why would I care? If I'm focused on me, why would I care about what the hell your political views are? Especially at a job where you're only going to meet somebody in passing, right? But it seems like Hollywood actually produces the worst narcissists who actually care about what you do and who you vote for and what your beliefs are, which is actually maybe the scariest thing on earth, to imagine somebody who's both self-involved and wants to control how you yourself behave.
Well, they don't. That's the thing, is they don't care. They care about their bottom line. The dollar, their bottom line. 9 times out of 10, if you think about who is actually going to theaters or buying movie tickets, concert tickets and all this, it's not the wealthy amongst us. It's the people that really can't afford it, because that's their way out of, that's how I fell in love with movies, because that's my way out of the hood, crazy gunshots flying everywhere. When I go and watch that 2-hour movie away from all that and see the nice theater, it got me away from that. Those are people's bottom line people. So they got to cater to those people. Those are the people that's buying the tickets, buying the merch, buying the stuff, not the wealthy minded people.
That's why the woke stuff is so weird, because the average person doesn't see the world that way. If they made more movies like a Top Gun, they would get more people to come back to the theater. But the stuff that they push now is anti the everyday person.
Well, the stuff they push now, at the end of the day, they use all these different ways to cover up the truth. End of the day, the only reason woke or any of that stuff exists or works right now is because that's their way of saying, I'm not a Trump supporter.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, no matter what people want to believe, woke, LGBTQ, this, that, whatever the new thing to be outraged about or whatever, those people, their whole thing is saying, hey, look at me, I am not a Trump supporter. That's the only reason they were against people that didn't get vaccinated, because they were like, if you didn't get vaccinated, that means you're a Trump supporter. If I don't show that I hate that you're not vaccinated, that means it looks like I'm a Trump supporter, which I am not, which I am behind closed doors.
I would like to point out how funny that is, considering Trump was one of the biggest supporters of the vaccine.
I mean, it's literally his vaccine.
Yes, but none of it makes any sense.
That tells you that, and that tells you right there. Yep. You hated the vaccine idea when Trump pushed it, but the minute he was gone and your people pushed it, now you love it, and it was the same thing. Yep. It tells you right there. But at the end of the day, everything right now, like, people probably don't want to see it this way, but it is what it is. Everything right now is about being a Trump supporter or not. Yeah. Because you got to look at what they liken it to. It's indicative of quote unquote white supremacy, even though it's not. But they liken it to, if you're a Trump supporter, that means you're a white supremacist. If you're a white supremacist, I mean, look, it's a whole war on white men in America right now, simply because it's like, how are you doing the thing to them that you said you hated that was done to us, treating us a certain way because of our skin color? Now you flip it and treat them a certain way. But you know why? Because I tell people all the time, I go, the main reason all this stuff is going on is the black community, just to say, doesn't want racism to end. They just want to be the ones to benefit from it. They don't want people to they don't, it's not that they hate men right now or whatever, it's that they want to be the ones to control.
I remember when I read the article that said black men are the white men of black people.
Jesus.
I've heard that phrase before.
Yes, that was a real article that was actually written. I think it was Salon. It might not have been Salon. I thought it was Salon that wrote that one. But we're in a time beyond parody now in a lot of ways. The culture is beyond parody. Everything sounds so ridiculous. Did you see the headlines from that Afro website with all the ridiculous articles? We're in a. It was the article. It was called "Anti-Chippers are the new awful people we need to worry about." And it's from 2021. It's a satire website. It was about people who don't want to get the chips in their arms. And there's a headline in it says like the anti-Semitic roots of anti-chipping. And the problem is that website, it's one of the better done satire, like trolling sites that I've seen. The problem is when somebody throws that headline onto Twitter, it doesn't seem like satire because the world we live in now is so ridiculous that people buy that somebody actually buys that, right? So we live in a time that is in a lot of ways beyond parody. I could read you that headline and you would buy 100% that was a real headline because it sounds like something someone would say. I'll actually put this website up here. I recommend everyone go and check this one out. Here, I'm going to put it on.
I mean, it's essentially everything right now is just outrage culture.
Yep. Body positivity is for women, not lazy white guys with dad bods. The word Latinx is the flashlight on latent transphobia that we needed. The revolutionary black inventors who changed everything, and this is why I like the site. That sounds like a real article. That could be a real article. Right next to Black Girl Magic, that time a black woman became the first immortal human. I recommend everyone go check this site out. I don't think that they would, I don't know how they'd feel about you or I supporting it, but I support it because it makes me laugh. And the blog is really, really fun.
You know they pronounce it Latin X.
Yes, no, I know, but
you
make
We're always going to say Latinx.
I'm not going. I'm not giving them their pronunciation.
I'm with it. I like
Latinx.
it. I might
Before
start doing that too.
we move on, I wanted to get into the short film that you released earlier this year starring Taryn Manning called A Parent. We're not going to be able to show it on here, but it's a group of grieving parents find support in each other after a school shooter takes the lives of their small children. As secrets are uncovered, these parents are forced to deal with hard truths and even harder choices in this heart-wrenching short, sure to pull on heartstrings of parents all over America. So, is that the first time you worked with Taryn Manning? Mm-hmm. What was that like?
It was dope. Yeah, we
She was the best actress.
She, yeah, I mean, all the actors on there were fire. They were dope. And I wrote that script. I wrote it, directed it, casted it, produced it. But I wrote it for her. So I said, okay, here's Taryn Manning. This is what she does, her type of style of acting I've seen, or whatever the case may be. And I was like, let me write this thing, but in a way that it's more, it caters to a certain style that I see within her, because she's a good actor. And she was cool. She brung that, like, that energy you see on screen. She brung it there too. Like when you see her in person doing these little scenes, like there was people crying, literally, like the crew members crying as we're shooting. We had to like retake because people were having real tears, like at the wrong times. Like, no, don't cry yet. That's how heavy it was in the room doing these scenes with her, as well as Siaka, the other lead, the black guy. Yep. Siaka.
I remember his story came out. Prager, like a couple of years ago. He had a fantastic story of coming out during the lockdowns and everything like that, and finally speaking up.
Yeah, he was great, and the whole thing was great. I think with her, because she's obviously, there's things going on in her public life.
That's another thing I wanted to bring up. Is
I want her to come on our show. That's what I want.
That would be awesome. She posted your short film only days after she was in all of these TMZ headlines for, first of all, the video where she was talking about tossing someone's salad, and then
that
also
can happen to anyone.
Singing along to Oliver Anthony's song "Rich Men North of Richmond." And also defending Danny Masterson after his conviction. And I was imagining, like, this guy must be like the one who directed this short film must be thinking, like, great timing for all this. I mean, don't comment on anything you don't want to comment on, but I mean, what were your reactions to that?
No, I've talked. We've
her
talked.
comment section must have not been a very friendly place at the time that she reposted that.
Well, no, me and her personally have talked about it, and like, yeah, she's smart. Like, she understands, like, that when I said, I was like, this is like just perfect timing, like sarcastically, right? But even her, she understands that, but at the same time too, it wasn't like it was going to hurt anything, you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, the way the film is shot, it shines light on her skill as an actor, and the other actors, their skill as actors portraying these things, right? Which means that no matter what's going on outside, when you watch the film, you're not thinking of, oh, that's Taryn that just did the video about that.
I mean, I'll admit, I was thinking about that a little bit, but
it's a little bit different, but we're also more like connected to all this than the average person would be, right?
But it aligns with your values of, like, I'm not going to blacklist anybody, I'm not going to cancel anybody for what they're doing on their personal.
I mean, because within that same week that you're speaking of, she brung up because she just did what I was telling him, you should watch the Whitney Cummings podcast. She just did, Whitney Cummings, the comedian?
Yeah.
So she just did her podcast, like, they just posted it like yesterday.
Okay.
So she talks about this in that podcast.
I'll look at that.
It's a hilarious, great podcast. But she talks about all this stuff, and she explains it there. But for me with that, it wasn't that. It was just like, yo, I know she's talking about her things, whatever, whoop, whoop, whoop. That's her, hey, that's her life. That's she grown woman, do her thing. We still rocking, like, unless you do something that is like directly like bad or towards me in a certain way, I'd be like, yo, I don't ever want to have no part to do with this or you. I forget, what was the question?
Well, I was just wondering if you were gonna enlighten us about, like, your reaction to that and the timing of it all.
Well, right away I was like, oh man. I was like, I'm trying to get this in the film festival. But at the same time too, it was more so it wasn't going to affect me, and also too, she like, again, she talks about it on Whitney Cummings' podcast, where she goes into detail, and I just thought, for me personally, I was just like, I'll be honest with you, I thought it was funny, because I was like, this is funny. I didn't even realize I didn't even think it was that big, to be honest, until everybody kept DMing me and texting. I'm waking up to texts from friends that don't even, I was like, where are you sending me articles and different things? I was like, yo, I didn't even know. I was like, and I thought it was just funny. I didn't know it was going to be this thing.
Yeah.
I don't even think she thought it was going to be this thing, like, it just happened, and I don't know what. It was weird, though. I will say this, though. I will say this. For me, I was like, what are the odds of once I make a film that of all the years and days this could have went, what were the odds? But here's the thing about her. She is a genuinely nice, good person. And she's just tired of Hollywood trying to control you with everything. She's over that. Like, you don't control her, control me, yada yada. Same as Samira. Samira's like, yo, you don't control me. You know what I mean? Like, stop trying to think you could tell me who to be, what to say, how to act. Whether I act this way or that way is my choice, not Hollywood's choice. Whether I support Trump or not. Because in the same week she came out saying she supported Trump. So within a day of each other. So it's like, she's just like, yo, I'm going to do me. And I understood it because I was talking to her before, so I already understood that she just in the place of, yo, I'm doing me. You don't control me. No, I'm doing me. So I can't do nothing but respect someone that takes a stand that goes, yo, Hollywood, you're not going to control me.
Absolutely.
Hollywood, you're not. And I can't do nothing but respect it. It was funny though.
Yep.
But
As far as like what are the odds, it's just my thoughts exactly watching it.
All right, let's go super chats.
Okay, Quite Blackpilled said, Brett, saw your girl on Barstool. I finally get it. He finally gets the appeal.
Here's the thing about Tiffany Gomas. I see her now like in actual interviews, and she looks like somebody I know, and I can't place it.
She looks like somebody almost everybody
knows. Is that what it is?
Not in an insulting way.
No,
but she's a beautiful woman.
I see her, and there's like it's like right there, and it's gonna come to me at like 2 a.m. I'm gonna wake up and be like, oh, that's who it was. But it might even be like an actor that she reminds me of. But she looks like somebody that I've seen before, and I can't quite place it. Maybe I'll get it later.
Bucky Ducky said, real question though, Mary, did you watch 4 through 6 or 1 through 6? I just finished watching episodes 4 through 6, and now I'm going to go on to 1 through 3.
Let's do Gordon Shumway.
Oh, I forgot to read this $20 one, I think, from
Where?
Gordon Shumway. Mary, one of the funniest Star Wars memes I saw was stormtroopers in the woods at night, captioned, when you're in space Vietnam and the trees start talking in teddy bear, Ewoks are ruthless.
I think my favorite memes are the ones that say like why would you need your guns? The U.S. government could just take you out if they wanted to, and it says like laughs in Vietnamese because we've been because we've gone to because we went to Iraq, we went to Afghanistan, we went to Vietnam, and we were never able to just destroy everybody, even for people an armed populace that was far less of a military might at all than we've ever been. So yeah, let's do 2 more and then we'll move on.
Gordon Shumway said, has anyone ever noticed that the first Fast and the Furious is just Point Break with rave cars?
Yes, and that's what I love about it. It's fantastic.
Agreed.
It's great, and it's got so many great actors in that movie. When you really think about it, the amount of names that are in that film. You got Tom Barry is in that movie. Not just Paul Walker and Vin Diesel. Ja Rule. Before Firefest became a problem.
I love how you pronounce every letter and syllable in Ja Rule's name.
Ja Rule. What I still think to this day is he wakes up every day and he's like, I didn't end up getting to be the Ludacris of this franchise. Because Ludacris went on to do very well for himself out of that franchise. He could have been that guy.
100%.
But he's not, and that's very sad. Let's hold off on the rest and we'll just come back.
Right.
Let's what do you want to do? Do you want to do Gina Carano or do you want to do Sabrina Carpenter?
Let's go to Gina Carano.
Okay, let's do that.
Gina Carano is on fire on Twitter lately, and we love to see it. This time, she's called out HBO Max for their scandal where their CEO was deploying bot accounts on Twitter and different comment sections to counter-signal bad reviews of HBO shows. And she's saying it's not just HBO that does it. It's also other Hollywood studios and other celebrities. And she thinks that, in any defamation lawsuit, this would be seen as intent to harm someone's reputation. So she's suggesting, not so quietly, that this happened to her when she was canceled in 2020. And that's certainly the way it seems from the outside, but there's no way to prove it. She also said that Disney considered buying Twitter, and the reason that they backed out of that decision was finding out with the help of Twitter that most of their users are fake.
Yep.
most of the buzz that's on social media is dead internet theory. It's not real people.
It is very hard now to know, like when you're talking, like when you post something on the internet and you get a bunch of comments, how much of that is actual interaction with an actual human being and how much of it is manufactured engagement with another, that was created either by some type of marketing firm or just dead accounts or all these things. But it's not like we bought for a second that HBO was the only company that would have gone to the lengths of employing bots or fake accounts just to dunk on people they don't like. They live and die a lot of times they care more about what the critics think than they care about what the fans think these days, it seems like. I still laugh when they put like a positive Rotten Tomatoes score as like an advertising thing, as if anybody gives a crap about the Rotten Tomatoes score of a movie.
No one really
Nobody
does,
really
yeah.
cares about it. Because that was a thing for a while, right? Like all the movies would be like certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. Like, so that means not like, what is is it
If
certified
you
fresh
can
by
buy
the audience?
reviews, why would that mean anything to anyone
Exactly.
anymore? I'm going to quote some of her posts here. Why buy Twitter and deal with that headache when you can create armies of bots to control the narrative for much less money and energy? It does your promoting for you without making it look like you're promoting yourself. Look, it's popular on all these accounts, strangely liked by a bunch of accounts with no names. It must be good. But what if it was used for something much more sinister? These damn critical YouTubers have too many followers. They're gaining traction. Let's censor them on top of sending in the fake bot armies, just enough to get the yes men and useful idiots on board and rolling. Makes sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, I still wonder sometimes how many people are actually like using the social media discourse on what to watch and what to not watch. But I do think it's very, very relevant to the culture.
I think you can see social media engagement and know that it's genuine just when you look at it.
What gives that away to you?
Like the way that Wednesday was such a TikTok phenomenon.
Yeah.
Like that is organic
So
popularity.
actual like media being created out of it, not just responses, but
or the memes about
yeah.
Barbenheimer. Like all of
Yeah.
these things are organic. You can tell when it's fake and
I can give you an
corporate.
example when it wasn't real. So they actually said that Universal Studios, when Fast 9 was coming out, do you remember when all of those family memes started coming out right around the time Fast 9 came out? A lot of that was studio involved. I mean, they were making these ridiculous like Vin Diesel memes.
Okay, yeah.
And a lot of that was created by the studio artificially. And even then, it felt
Because
artificial.
Suits
Now it
aren't
feels
good
real.
at making memes. Suits
Yes.
aren't good at making Twitter clapbacks.
Now it feels real. My favorite one the other day, it says like Fast and the Furious 39, and it's Vin Diesel in like a rocket-powered wheelchair, and it says like the only thing, like one thing that doesn't die is family. Like I like stuff like that, but I do think that these types of campaigns are ripe for being manipulated by these companies. But it is up to the more educated internet eye to be able to figure out when it feels organic. Wednesday felt organic. People were creating their own dances out of the very, very iconic dance that came out of that. Dahmer was very, very successful in this because people would do what they do is they'd take the clip of him with the knife in front of the TV screen, and then they'd put their own video in the TV screen. It says like me making you watch Kurt Cobain interviews from 1993. So like that is right. Like that's really good.
You can't get away from it.
No,
You can't fake meme magic.
No, you can't.
But
Like,
you can't. But also too, you can't get away from just anything. Whether we're talking about fake bots or we're talking AI or anything in that spectrum, like you're not going to get away from it. Like we could talk about it as much as we want. We could we hate this, we hate that. Literally, life is everything is about finding a way to make something easier to do. Think of TV. Before TV, there were radios and records.
Yep.
But then TV came and it was in black and white. And then after that, it became color. And then from TV, it went to DVD or
VHS.
VHSs. Then it went to...
Well, actually, it was Betamax in there.
Or
before
that one.
Yeah,
Boom.
like,
and then it goes to DVDs, and then from DVDs it goes to Blu-ray. Then it goes from Blu-ray. Everything is made in a way to be more easier to.
I still remember when I was watching an old episode of this is back in the day. some movie was being advertised on WWE, and I still remember when in the advertisement for the movie it said now, it used to say now available on VHS and DVD. When it switched to DVD and VHS because DVD had now become the dominant profile, it felt like I was actually watching a shift in the culture happen in real time.
Yeah, I mean, it's easier to buy followers than to do the work to gain followers. It's easier to figure out a way to purchase bots to push this or whatever than to actually do the work of branding, marketing, etc. If I'm a studio exec ahead and I know I can, hey, if I pay whatever to have fake views and fake different things like the things that Gina's talking about, you're just as from a business perspective, you're trying to cut costs. And what's going to be cheaper, putting all this money into marketing and doing this, or using the finances to get maybe a bot farm or whatever the case may be. Is certain things is going to, you can't stop it.
Yeah.
You can't stop it. And now if you go independent, you can stop it for a minute, but eventually independent becomes corporate.
Yeah, which is sad to see sometimes, but it's it's one of those discussions that I like to have with people, because it's like you can see the soul leave a project once it becomes corporate sometimes, because it's just the way of the world. There's nothing you can do about it, unfortunately. That's what happens, but that's actually still for a lot of people the American dream, whether they want to admit it or not, is to make something amazing and then make a lot of money off of it by selling it off to some larger corporation. Now, the most ardent supporters of their art and their work might be the ones who push back and not want to do that. And certainly we're seeing the rise of crowdfunding right now, which allows you to profit, make money, and create artistic vision that is not being hindered by large corporate entities. But for a lot of them, it's still about ending up getting that major distribution deal, getting that major financing from a firm or something like that, right? Yeah. I was talking to someone recently who said he left Hollywood because he got sick of asking people for money, meaning that he got sick of asking for funding for projects and stuff like that. And it's so hard to get anything greenlit to get made anyways. That's why I always say, like, good art is worth saving, because the actual process of making a movie is a Herculean effort that's so difficult to do to begin with that it actually should be more shocking to people that more things aren't, like, that more stuff isn't bad. Like, as bad as everything is, the fact that anything comes out amazing is really a testament to just how unique and amazing art actually is, because so much work goes into making a movie actually come to life, from idea and conception to writing to storyboarding to finding financing to getting executive producers on board, getting all of these people involved in this process. The fact that it can come out good is amazing. Like, to see something like that actually happen should be, like, it's why I think Mary likes to give me crap sometimes, because I tend to be more rose-colored glasses when I watch a movie. And I think part of it is because when I watch a film, even if it's not the greatest film in the world, it's just me, but I think about that. Like, that plays a role into it. And I understand you can't make a movie expecting someone to have this perspective, but I watch it and I'm like, wow, a lot of hundreds of thousands of man hours went into.
The problem is they always expect the entire audience to have the same outlook that you have. And anyone who makes something like, I mean, watching The Flash, I thought about this, or Blue Beetle. If you were involved in making those, you're going to watch it back and think it's the best thing ever and have no self-awareness as to where it falls short.
Absolutely.
And they expect the rest of the world to feel the same way.
My perspective is not one that they should be ever expect.
Never bank on that.
Yeah, they should never bank on that. You should go. Every audience should be treated as a blank slate.
Make money off of good content, not goodwill.
Yeah, like, but when I go in and watch a movie and I see like good lighting and I see it's like, wow, they had to block that scene that way. Like, I get that that's not
the film school in
that's
you.
Yeah, like, I get that that's not the way you typically look at film production. I'm also more predisposed to just getting caught up in it. Like, I like to point out, I was like, look, I don't think of myself when we review movies as a movie reviewer. I go watch a movie, and however I leave feeling that movie is how I feel about the movie. Well, and I can feel good about a movie and still point out 10 bad things about it and still like it, which makes no sense.
That was how a lot of conservatives ended up reviewing Barbie, because you left the theater feeling good about it after you watched it, even though on paper, in every single way, it's the antithesis of all of your values.
Right.
I hate I like almost all the movies that I end up watching. There's very few movies this year that I hated that movie with Jennifer Lopez, The Mother. I absolutely hated that movie. There was a couple of them. I couldn't finish that last spy thriller with Gal Gadot on Netflix. But for the most part, if I can be entertained for 2 hours, I'm going to give it a 5 or higher most of the time.
Here's the thing about Barbie. Whether it was now or 2012, I wasn't going to watch it.
Yeah.
Period. I don't
and
watch
it's one
Barbie.
time where that phrase "it's not for you" actually was true, and you could take that and accept it for what it was.
Exactly.
I think that will become more common now. Like now, if movies like this become more common and it's no longer like this type of unicorn where there's actually a movie that's finally made for women that's not just substituting male characters for female characters, men will just opt out and be like, I don't have
It
interest
had
in it.
its flaws and
Yeah.
could have been done so much better, but it got the basics right.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I've heard people say this, and I've said it, but I just didn't use this term, but now I do. Outrage fatigue. Like I don't want to just be complaining all the time, sounding like the old man on the park. Get off my lawn! I don't want to be that person. You know what I mean? And first and foremost, I didn't get in this fight for that. This fight I got into, number one, actively being out there in the street. Like, I've been literally face to face with Black Lives Matter Antifa in the middle of the street, like face to face. Like, yo, a lot of people haven't. They just do it on the phone.
Yeah.
But I'm saying that to say that I got in this fight because of our rights being taken from the whole COVID stuff. That's what, and then being able to not work based on my political affiliation. That's really what made me get into it. I didn't get into it to try and feel like the moral authority.
Yeah.
Because I feel like people on our side, we've gotten to the point, a lot of us, that we dictate morality. We're the ones that go, we're doing exactly the thing that we said the other side was doing that we didn't like. We're doing it, but under our banner.
Yeah.
It's gotten to a point where it's like the woke left is like, if you don't think this way or act this way, then you're not with us and you don't belong. And we fought against that, but now we're like, if you don't do this way or that way, then you don't belong. I'm like, now you're doing the same thing.
Yep.
I keep saying, I don't like woke, period. Woke right or woke left. I don't want woke.
I just don't like the word. More than anything,
You don't like purity
yes.
testing.
Yeah.
Is the
That-
thing.
that-
The
yes.
purity spiraling on
Yeah.
either side.
Yeah, like don't listen. At the end of the day, we don't have to. Someone that I wouldn't quote normally, but I'm going to quote, Michelle Obama said something in regards a few years back. She goes, just because you can say something doesn't mean you need to say something. So just because you got a mouth doesn't mean you need to express what you don't like all the time because you got a cell phone and everybody feels their voice is important because everyone can just type something and think the world.
I actually feel, well, I guess she's not really a politician. I actually feel like the only group of people that I don't want to hear that from is politicians. If I'm being completely honest, I agree with the sentiment, but a politician should actually expect and want everybody to have their opinions heard. So Michelle can kick rocks on that one.
Michelle,
But I guess she's not really a politician.
Michelle could kick rocks barefooted down the hill in Arizona. The thing is that it's to a point. That's why even sometimes I just take breaks off of Instagram because I want to say things. I have an opinion on everything, but I'm humble enough, which I hate saying that too, but I would say are more self-aware enough to understand that my opinion isn't that damn important. I don't need to constantly everything that I don't like speak on, and everything that I think should be this way say something about, so that I can look virtuous to people on my side, or to be, and the other thing I hate, to be in such a rush to be first to say something so that I could be relevant. Like Denzel Washington said one time, he's like, people
I was about to pull that quote out and then you'd go
in
for
a
it.
rush, and they're so quick to be first that they don't care about being right.
Yep.
Like you're so, I just want to be the first one to say sound of freedom. I want to be the first one to say Trump this, or the first one to say, and then we go look back or say some mess like, oh, you reclined your seat, and it's like, what are we talking about? Seat reclining? Really? We're talking about
a national
seat
crisis.
reclining.
It's actually kind of difficult because I feel that way. I do feel that way exceptionally about politics, but like the job of this podcast is literally to have opinions. But even then, people will ask our opinions on certain topics where I'm like, I don't have an opinion on that. So it's like we have them every day, but on a very narrow, realm of topics, pop culture, movies.
Well, that's different. What you guys do is different, though.
But like when I go on Twitter, like I don't post about anything political ever, because why would anyone care about what me, who is not a political expert, has to say? I have my opinions, but why would anybody care about what I have to say about that stuff? It's not going to lead you towards any grain of like exceptional truth or knowledge. It's just my opinion.
But you're not telling people, but also you guys aren't telling people, go protest this. Go make sure
actually,
this bill.
I have a motto here. It's not enough to just not be an activist. I believe it's your job and it's your duty as a human being to be actively anti-activist.
What the hell does that mean?
You should not just not protest. You should protest not protesting. And protest, yes,
protesting.
you should protest protesting, but on your own and away from everyone else. You should protest protesting by not protesting.
Silently protest.
Exactly.
protesting.
All the time.
So basically, shut up.
Yes. Well, yeah, there you go. That's a quicker way to do it.
Shut up.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to Super Chats.
Okay.
I want a fourth crisis party, guys. Before we go, we need to scare Phil at least one more time.
Hell yeah.
Dearly Departed said Sandra Bullock's character in Demolition Man was, I'm not sure how to pronounce this, Lenina Huxley. Named for the author of Brave New World. She was Diane Lane in Judge Dredd.
Yes.
Oh, you're right.
Yep.
Serengo
right.
Productions said that Tiffany Gomas is not real.
Look, she's real. She's just, maybe she's like half real. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe she's like a specter and she's like some days she's real and some days she's not.
Not that Jon Stewart, I already read that one. Dearly Departed said, if you're going to Dollywood, stop by Log Cabin Pancake House in Gatlinburg. Not a paid ad, just a very happy returning customer.
Wait, so is like Log Cabin Pancake House the same place? Did they create Log Cabin? Isn't that a syrup company?
I don't know.
I think there's a syrup company called Log Cabin.
I have no idea.
She's like, I
don't know.
I was just reading it.
It's not Mrs. Butterworth. It's not Mrs. Butterworth. So maybe that's the only one that matters these days because you can't buy Mrs. Butterworth anymore.
You mean Aunt Jemima?
Yeah, they got rid of both of them.
Oh.
No.
They didn't get rid of Mrs. Butterworth too?
I don't know. You know what? Let me just not say that because I don't know. But I haven't heard about the Buttersworth.
Okay. Tammy Lee said, I'm intentionally late. Brett better be finished talking about Gomas or I'm dumping him. Hi, Mary and Director Phil. XOXO.
That's luckily I just finished, so we're good.
It's over now. DCNC said, regarding Star Wars, Yo Mares rate the trilogies. I have not watched the prequel trilogy yet, so maybe we'll wait on that. I just don't feel strongly enough about Star Wars to rate them.
Okay.
I didn't grow up with Star Wars. So.
Well, I have something big and important here. So in 2020, Mrs. Buttersworth, by the way, it's Mrs., not Miss.
Not Miss. She's a married woman.
She's a married woman. So I was dead naming her a little bit there. In 2020, following protests over systemic racism, Conagra Brands announced that it would review the shape of their bottles as critics viewed them as an example of the mammy stereotype. Mm-hmm. Is that what it's called? Yeah. A competing brand, Aunt Jemima, revamped its brand in advertising following the attention on negative black stereotypes in ads. Miss Buttersworth's voice has evoked a grandmotherly white woman, and she has been portrayed by white voice actresses. Despite this, some sorts, I guess because the bottle has syrup in it, she's technically...
No.
We live in...
A shade of brown.
That's not it. You missed the whole point. The whole point that they're basically trying to make it like that's a black woman.
Yeah,
because of the shape of the
bottle.
hips.
Okay, so despite this, some reports have claimed, without citing any sources, that the character was originally modeled on Butterfly McQueen, a black actress who appeared as the maid in Gone with the Wind from 1939. In August of 2023, Mrs. Buttersworth syrup is still being sold with the familiar bottle shape. So they didn't get her into CrossFit. They didn't change her. They left her the way she is.
They're gonna give her a six-pack.
Despite the brand review, Conagra Viagra announced it would. This is what they should have done with Aunt Jemima. They should have been like, yeah, we'll look into it, and then just come back, and then just not.
We'll
do
be
anything.
monitoring the situation.
Not to mention, they did the same thing. Land O'Lakes is from out by me in the Midwest. They kept the land. They got rid of the
Indian.
The Indian.
They got
Typical
rid of
Americans.
the black woman on Aunt Jemima, the Indian on Orlando Lakes, and they got
Uncle
rid
Ben.
of Uncle Ben, the black guy. And I'm like, so what you're saying, Black Lives Matter, is that now you can't see us nowhere? I thought, didn't we fight to be seen now?
Well, the point they would be making is that you can see them, but they have to be their own companies and they need to own the brand. So if a black person's, because what's Terrence Williams has his syrup brand or his pancake brand,
yes.
Terrence K.
Terrence
Williams.
K.
So like the idea is that it's because white executives are getting rich off of the logo that it's systemic racism.
Oh my God.
Anyways.
As an aside.
Shane H. Wilder said, my dad taught me cursive over a summer when I was a kid because my school didn't want to. I still use it to this day as it is what I'm used to.
Well, I mean, that's great.
That's
that
your
what are you
prerogative,
writing on a
man.
regular basis?
See, see, those are questions I ask.
I mean, to be fair, I do write every day. I write notes and stuff
In
every
print.
day, but I print
Yes.
them, and even then, the print is bad.
Yeah. Daniel Sorensen said, I stand with Brett. Green olives are awesome. You
Glad
have
I
the
got some
support.
backup here today, ladies and gents. Thank
Do you eat it with the little red thing in it?
Yep.
What is that red thing?
Pimento. I have no idea what that.
Have you had the new pimento? I'm sorry, Chick-fil-A.
Yes.
Yo, that joint smack. I
had it yesterday.
It was good. Or,
It's great.
I was like, oh, this is nice.
Yeah.
There you go. Pimento.
I don't ever do Chick-fil-A like that, but that joint hit.
I love Chick-fil-A and Taco Bell. Those are my top two fast food.
The fact that you love Taco Bell makes you like my best friend because I tell people almost on a monthly basis, I'm like, Taco Bell is the shiznit.
We live.
And they're
we live
like,
Moss
that's
here.
disgusting. You eat that?
It's a
Yes, I
have
do.
you-
Proudly.
Have you not had a bean and cheese burrito with the red sauce and the cheese and the onions come and it busts out the bottom and you like, ooh, it's like a little surprise at the end. It's on the paper. She knows she does it. Once she finishes the burrito, she gets that paper.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or no, what's the meme? It's like you get an extra. Like if you're eating a taco, you put another taco shell on the thing so that
got
the
another
taco
one.
stuff drips down into the other taco and just makes you
That's 2
a
meals,
secondary taco.
That's 2 meals, baby.
Everyone here loves to live Moss.
Yes.
do.
We live Moss here.
What's
The Taco Bell slogan: "Live Moss."
more? Like live more?
Yeah.
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 I thought that was like a Jewish thing, like my like
No.
the mosque.
No. DCNC said put a chick in it and make it gay.
Yep.
DCNC said this is how I pronounce Tolkien.
Okay.
This is how I pronounce Mr. Miyagi. I don't know what.
I guess
Are
he's
you trying
saying
to get
that
me to say it
however
wrong?
you pronounce it, you pronounce it.
I
Okay.
think I pronounced those correctly. Pat the Plumber said Tatiana Maslany was awesome in Orphan Black. It's unfortunate how stupid She-Hulk was.
My one of the things that I laugh now when they get these actors to, it used to be a thing where they made fun of actors for taking superhero roles because it was seen as like the lesser genre to do. Now all of them are clamoring for their own superhero role. They're all getting their
Kim Kardashian wants to be an X-Men.
They're getting all their Ozempic and the men are getting their TRT so they can get into shape so they can wear the spandex. Yep.
I also too, because I always try to tell people, because people sometimes they think I'm mean or based on my pant, they think I have this mean, intense deadpan, and they don't realize that. I tell people all the time, I go, "Where's the cat? Is this one?" I don't have eyebrows.
Yeah.
I have alopecia, so I don't have hair anywhere. I'm not mad. People think I'm mad, and I'm like, I'm not mad. I'm thinking about roses, but they think I always have to say that because people always be like, "Why are you mad?" I was like, I'm not mad. Just.
Did you laugh at Chris Rock's alopecia joke
Let me think. Did I? Why?
from Slapgate?
Right. I think it was basic funny. Like I'm not offended. Like I've had jokes on me and my
Jada doesn't represent you.
She does not represent us at all whatsoever. But I
'Cause you're not
I
an evil
was happy.
supervillain.
I was happy that she made the alopecia in and of itself a topic of discussion that almost never happens.
Sure.
Because there's a lot of people that suffer from alopecia. Some people suffer like very bad, like women that were models or whatever. And then when they're 25, boom, this happens, and they're like, oh my god. There's all kind of different. So people need to know about it, because I think it really does. I know it does, because I used to get messages all the time. People saying, "Thank you for speaking on it." I was like,
You're a better ambassador than the supervillain.
Then Jada Pinkett.
"Yo, what's up with her now? It's like she's just going out, just doing as much as she can to make her and Will look as bad as possible."
She's a supervillain. She's a supervillain.
She really doesn't care about dragging her own name through the mud as long as Will has to get dragged too.
Well, okay. Well, do you say that, or what about this? That she believes she's making herself look good, and she doesn't care that it could make Will look bad.
She's too calculated for that. I think she knows that she looks bad. She just doesn't care as long as she gets to drag Will down to her level.
But she could just be extremely narcissistic, and because I have a couple of friends, actually this one where like you can't preach to her that she's doing something wrong, because there's no wrong she could do in her mind. And
that could be it.
Jada could very well be so narcissistic that and then add on top of that the she's like super pro, like black sister girl, like that's so. And before she got big in mainstream, in the black community, that's what she was known as, the strong black woman. What's up, my brother, sister? That was her thing, her persona. So she got so caught up in that, and maybe the narcissism, that she thinks that she's like being this strong black woman, telling y'all what's going on, my sisters. And
I tell you what, every year I watch Scream 2, and when she dies, I go. It's the worst death in all the Scream movies too, by far.
Can we agree that Scream 1 has to be up at the top of slasher movies of all time?
Oh, for me, absolutely.
I haven't watched
it. That movie played a very big.
I plan to.
I still, to this day, that movie was so big to me that you can rent every year at Halloween the house that the farmhouse that they're on, and at the end scene they put it up for Airbnb. It's like a themed Airbnb. It's like a Scream themed Airbnb. And one of these years, I'm going to have the money to just go do that. I'm going to, it's expensive. But yeah, I love that movie.
You should definitely watch it, because we were super cool. Me and you were super cool.
Until just now.
Up until this moment when you said
Ruined
that.
Everything.
You got to watch Scream 1. Is, I would say, one of the greatest opening scenes of a slasher flick.
Oh yeah, it's one of the most expertly done building of tension that you'll ever see in a movie, especially considering all you're really watching is a lady on the phone.
And that is Drew Barrymore.
Well, I have seen that scene, but not the movie.
It's it almost kind of ruins it though, because when you were if you were younger, and especially when in the age when there wasn't social media and you didn't know that that's what it was about to become. I think that nowadays people will go into that scene knowing that that's an iconic scene, and going into it not knowing that that's what it's going to be, you'll never replicate that again. It's incredible.
Are you a movie girl? Do you watch movies a lot, or?
I mean, I'm trying to more and more, but I haven't seen a lot of those classics.
But you're a movie guy. Okay, cool.
Let's have more time on this planet.
Yes, I've been alive just a little bit longer.
Not fair.
One of the things that I find funny about that movie is the police chief is like, "What are you doing with a cellular telephone, son?" It was 96.
A cellular telephone.
That's what they didn't say cell phone back then. He goes, "What are you doing with a cellular telephone, son?"
I missed that part. I forgot
it's the part after he gets after Billy gets arrested the first time, he's being interviewed by the police chief, and Dewey's on the side of the room. He says, "What are you doing?"
Okay.
He's like, "Everyone's got one, Sheriff."
It's a good movie.
It was the 90s. It was a different time.
You got to watch it.
They also never explained why Ghostface was in a convenience store, and nobody just said anything about the fact that there's a guy in a huge costume in a convenience store.
These days, I wouldn't question it.
Yeah.
Jesus, man. These days, boy. I just found out Ghostface had a name, Ghostface, a couple of years ago.
Yeah, that's the characters. A lot of people believe, there's conspiracy theories that believe that Ghostface is actually supernatural, and that's why he never gets hurt, and why you can throw him downstairs and he never tumbles or anything, the way he always gets up so early. Maybe it also explains why what's her name, Jill in Scream 4, who's 5'2", suddenly becomes 6 feet when Ghostface is in costume, because the actress is tiny. Jill Roberts is tiny, and it doesn't really make any sense.
I know this is completely off topic. Shawshank Redemption. Have you seen that? Mm-hmm. I just got a new theory from someone, and I was shocked because I never saw this. Saw this theory. Have you seen Shawshank?
I think so.
Long
time ago.
The ending someone told me that he's really dead.
Yeah, a lot of people believe that.
I never knew. I was like, that's very interesting. I never once thought that, but it does make sense.
Yep. There's a lot of film theories, film conspiracy theories are great because that's the point of great art, right? Is people can come up with their own interpretations of it, and sometimes they one of my favorite alternate theories is that Jigsaw is actually Kevin McAllister from Home Alone.
Okay, that's a little more far-fetched.
Yes, but that's the point. It's funny. It's fun. It's that he can. Somebody also said that they need to make like a Home Alone.
Will there ever be another Home Alone? Not Home Alone, but another film that did what Home Alone did in that genre of what he did.
I like the idea. What people have pitched is that what they need to do is they need to make a new Home Alone with Macaulay Culkin, and they just don't acknowledge that he's in his 40s, and they just treat him like a kid.
That's a great sketch.
Yeah, it'd be great.
That's a good sketch. I would do. There's a comedian named Esther Pavinsky.
Okay.
I worked on her special, and he was in the audience. Macaulay Culkin. And I'm in the back watching it on monitor, and he gets up on the stage and starts telling the crowd some random story. And I remember looking like, who's this guy on stage?
Yeah. Just
telling it. And then next thing you know, it's Macaulay Culkin, just randomly just on stage. People, nobody ever knew until he got up there. Like,
if you don't believe that Macaulay Culkin could be a bad guy, go and watch the movie The Good Son with him, where he plays the sociopathic child.
I definitely believe it.
Yep.
Oh, it's a good movie. That's a good. Isn't that? Yeah.
It was around the same time, a couple years after.
James Orenthal Wen said DJ Quick to Disney, don't make dollars not equal sense.
Say that again.
It's DJ Quick's advice for Disney.
Yes. Yeah, well, they haven't seemed to make much sense in the last few years anyways.
Marco sent us a thumbs up.
Thank you.
Disco Jensen said, make asylums great again.
That would be great. Thanks, Reagan.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Rhaegar Targaryen said, remember when Marvel made the Red Skull Jordan Peterson in a comic? Then he turned it around and made a Hydra t-shirt with a lobster.
Yeah, he made a bunch of money off that. He made a bunch of Hail Lobster merch.
Who?
Jordan Peterson. So Marvel turned Jordan Peterson into a bad guy in a comic.
When was that again?
2019, 2020 or something like that.
They put Jordan Peterson.
It was, yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
He was also the villain in Don't Worry, Darling.
Yep.
Yeah. OrganizedBusinessServices.com said, here's your tip, Mary, today. Since I installed Brave, I made money on my JVs for a great... Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
I think this comes out of nowhere, yo.
Home Alone 12, Christmas in the Hood.
I'd see it. Thanks, Ian.
Okay, I made money on my JVs for a great 20% ROI today. My business partners love you and I love you. Tell Tim to start a business or what?
Double? They get a free one, I guess. Now you guys have to pay for it.
Or reinvestment Timcast?
Yes. Oh, I wonder if it's they got a free one there.
Yeah, I don't know
That's
what
not
that
fair.
was. Michael Williams said, just venting, PCC crew, forgive me in advance. Met a girl recently and thought I was actually into. Turned out she just wanted money. Unfortunately, you really can't fix people, I guess. Love y'all. Thanks.
Well, I'm sorry that happened, man. It says turned out she just money. I thought maybe she was just money. But yeah, that's no good, man.
Thanks for giving us.
There's
your
more
money
fish.
instead.
There's more fish in the sea, my friend.
Have y'all ever thought about the money machines being up high so it looks like it rains down on you?
It wouldn't show on the camera. They wouldn't show the same on camera. It would show the same on camera.
We can't refill them after the first crisis party.
Oh,
Yes.
got you.
So,
Okay.
yeah. Pat the plumber said late PCC. Let's go.
Let's go. That's
go.
becoming a meme now.
Bucky Ducky said,
Let's go.
revenge is the best. Mary, you ain't ready for how good it is. Also, Brett, don't forget about my message on Twix.
I will look for it. I promise.
Twix.
Shane H. Wilder said, great show, guys. Prayers that everything works out with your car, Mary. It was great to see you on the show, Phil. Brett, I'll see you tonight with Kurtz.
Yes, I will be live with Colonel Kurtz at 9 p.m. on her YouTube channel tonight.
Bang Bang Lulu said olives are only good if you eat them off your fingertips like God intended.
I like eating olives that way. I like eating olives on pizza. I even like eating olives in cheeseburgers. Yes, that's a thing.
I don't object to any of this.
There you go.
Mary's very
do
all that.
I wouldn't do it, but I mean,
Mary's very libertarian on my olive eating.
That's the one issue.
that she's got no opinion on. Thank you.
Not that. John Stewart said, Brett, you need to see PCU from '94 starring Jeremy Piven. Is it
Piven?
Piven.
Okay, I'll check it out. I don't know what that stands for.
Dearly Departed said, Mary, rate Star Wars any way you like as long as The Empire Strikes Back is number 1. Also, it was Lenina Huxley. Watch Demolition Man.
I love Demolition
Honestly,
Man.
I don't know enough about Star Wars to remember which episode is named what.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just getting into it. Michael Williams said, did Hannah Claire ever finish the Fast and Furious movies?
You'll have to ask her the next time she's on.
Did they ask her last time she was on?
I think
Or they just kind of
did.
forgot?
I think they did, and she obfuscated. I think she kind of just
Expertly.
Yes.
Yeah. DCNC said, guest approved. Come back.
Yes.
He's not even gone
He's
yet,
not
and
even
you're
gone
asking
yet.
him to come back. Okay, I'm not going to read this username. I learned cursive in the 3rd grade, never used it.
They're all on your side with the cursive.
Word, heck yeah. I actually got a question. For when you go on a whatever podcast, I've been wondering, what is your reasoning for going on there specifically? Are you there to
dunk on hoes?
Yeah. Are you there essentially to dunk on these hoes, or are you there to learn something, or are you there to push back? Are you friends with the host, or like
with the host, not the hose?
Oh,
no, the host.
Are you friends with the host?
Not the.
You're friends with these hoes, yo?
I don't think the hoes have anything that they could teach me, but I think even if we do these debates and they're very stubborn and don't want to listen to what other people have to say or what I have to say, in my points, it's always worth trying to plant a seed of doubt in someone that you believe is on a path of self-destruction, which is what I believe that at least most of those girls are doing with their lives. So, and also it's more so for the people watching. Like, there are about 7 people at the table and like 100,000 times more than that watching the conversation. It's really more about the people watching. So people get it twisted. The person that I am on public platforms like that is not the person I am in my private life at all. And that's deliberate, and that's actually a good thing. I would not behave the same way that I do in my personal relationships the same way like on a podcast.
No, because
that'd be terrible.
First and foremost,
everyone.
that was the most wholesome answer of that. That was very wholesome. 2, because I saw you certain ones, and I was like, yo, she eating, yo. I was like, she cooking, yo.
Thanks.
Like, let her cook, yo.
Mary just goes around and looks for hoes in the real world to just yell at. She's like, look.
Well, it's also like, it's not like I'm just accosting them on the streets. They show up there looking to debate these
They were
things.
asking for it.
They're trying to get clout.
They're trying to get clout, and they're trying
See
to
the way they were
get a
dressed?
rise out of people. So, I mean, I don't see anything wrong with responding in kind.
No, so okay, yes, I agree with that. Because I look at it this way: like, if I see fresh and fit, I'm just like you. I see it. It's more so entertainment, but also like the Andrew Tates in them. I believe a saying that I've always said, that a lot of times people don't hear you until there's a microphone in front of your face.
Yep.
So meaning you have to make something grandiose to make this small point, because people don't want to look at the small point.
Yep.
So you got to do this thing just
The
to
over
make
the top stuff leads you to the smaller stuff, and hopefully
Yeah.
the smaller stuff is what sticks.
Right, but in that, I think that the whatevers and the fresh and fits, etc. I believe the reason they bring those women on and they talk this talk isn't to change those women. The goal isn't to change those women.
Oh, I don't believe that they bring them on there I believe they bring them on there.
No,
for
it's not an
women's- They want
intervention.
they want to make money. The podcast hosts want to make money.
Right, well them, but I'm talking about the host guy, fresh and all of them. I believe the reason for it is when we look at what women in general, just the common woman out, their influences and people they look up to are typically celebrities. Typically celebrities is not, they're not looking up to their pastor's wife. You know, they're not looking like, let's be real.
Or their parents or any friends that really care about them.
Right. These grown women are looking up to Kim Kardashians, Megan's, all these people, Beyonce's and all these unnecessary people. And for that, for the people beneath that, it's like a hierarchy. Yeah. You have celebrities, real celebrities. Then you have like the influencer chicks. I'm talking about just the ladies, the influencer ladies. And then underneath them, you have the hoes, which are the ones that come on those podcasts, right? But then you go another step down. Beneath them, you have the regular everyday woman. They all look up to something. And if you talk to these women that you guys talk to, like you say, you're not talking to them. You're really talking to the cameras. Fresh and Fed, you yourself, you're really talking to the audience viewing, because they need to hear this, because essentially, I'm sorry to sound cynical, but those are lost causes. The girls at the tables, they're lost causes. They're just there as a reason for me to tell the message or speak the message to those other women that's watching the podcast, in hopes that they will see or catch something, because life is changing right now because of people think this is real life, living like these women in different things. But again, hey, if you go hoe, be a hoe. My life is all about be what you say you are. Yeah. If you a hoe, be a hoe. If you a good person, be a good person. Don't be out here pump faking.
Well, a lot of the issue is that the hoes want to be treated like they're ladies.
Yes.
Which is against the point that you just made.
Yes. That's what I'm saying. If you are a hoe, be a hoe. You can't be a hoe and then want to be treated like a lady. That's where I'm like, no, that's be and whatever happens. It comes with the territory.
Whatever podcast.
I should. I'll probably do it one day, but we'll see what happens.
Pat the plumber said Mexican pizza for life. Not my
Taco
favorite.
Bell? Wait, Taco Bell?
Yeah, not my favorite menu item.
When's the last time you had it?
I don't know, a month ago.
Hey, she's a real Taco Bell.
No, but only because like sometimes Tim just orders a truckload of Taco Bell. It happened this week.
Those are good days.
It literally happened this week. So then it just shows up and I'm like, if there's Mexican pizza, like I guess I'll have it.
Wait.
But if I'm spending my own money on Taco Bell, I'm not buying Mexican pizza.
Wait, so there's a whole Taco Bell phenomenon that happens here?
Sometimes.
There's certain phases.
There's
this week has been a lot of
Chick-fil-A.
Uber Eats.
Yes.
Sidebar, I used to know how to kickflip. What? Yep, nice. Me. Boom. I was doing
anymore?
Flip, tricky, all this. I used to know the names. No, I'm 38. What I look like out there, like trying to learn how to skate.
Brett's doing tricks.
No, he's not learning how to skate.
Well, yeah. True.
He knows.
He's already had
if you didn't know how to skate, you wouldn't be learning right now, right?
If you woke up and you didn't know how to skate anymore, would you relearn it?
There's a phenomenon of people who have started in their 40s now. That's becoming more common.
Oh, wow. Let's say you had a seizure or something. You had to relearn all of it. Would you do it?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes, I would.
Nice.
I'm far more comfortable skating than I am doing this. So yeah, I would. I would.
I wasn't a poser. I just
I haven't heard that term in so long.
Poser.
No, and the reason
we need to bring back that term. Bring back the term poser.
Because this is back when I was like,
stop calling people racists and misogynists. Call them posers.
I feel like my pants just turned into Jinkos and I have a wallet chain on.
and you're going to understand why I say it, because when I was doing the skating stuff, like learning that, I was about 17 years old. Yeah. So that means this is like 2002. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I started in 99, and what I tell you nowadays, kids are too nice. Like you go to skate parks and everyone gets along.
Except everyone.
And I'm like, that's lame. I missed it when we all fought.
But you need to be the instigator.
See, I was around.
To start the conflict.
I was around. See it come back. Me and him, we were around before skinny jeans were mass produced. It was back when they used to cut. The dudes would cut their jeans.
You have to wear women's jeans in a large.
What about the dudes that used to cut their jeans and then stitch it together?
I never went to skate parks in that phase. We wore huge sweatpants in the late 90s and early 2000s. That was the trend.
Brett, you need to be the negative change that you want to see in the world. Be the
Yes.
negativity that you want to see.
If you want more hate in the world, be the hate.
Be the hate you wish to
embody
see.
it.
Embody the hate.
Ghost Soup said, "Thank you for the introduction to Director Phil. I love his point of view. Great show, guys."
Thank you.
Bucky Ducky said, "Is Taco Bell fire different than it was before 2016?"
The fire sauce. I was.
What do you mean?
Interesting.
They changed it in 2016?
Maybe.
See, every time I think I'm gonna be cool with her, she says something that takes it back.
There's probably a great conspiracy
that
about
mean?
like the change of fire sauce.
You need to know your sauces.
They changed the fire sauce?
What like is it like?
So he's basically saying the intensity and
it's no longer as fire.
Well, I
as
just
it
get
used to be.
Diablo every time anyway.
Whoa, you're sick. I can't do nothing past mild. Mild is my go-to.
But
I
it's
do
not
mild.
even
Only mild.
spicy.
Yeah.
Mild isn't even
I
spicy.
can't take spicy. Like, do you understand? If I start eating Diablo for sure, my nose is running, tears coming down.
I think I like the like it clears my sinuses. I like it.
So your nose start running too?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I
I like
hate
that.
it. Yo.
You'd be great at doing drugs, but don't do it.
I never thought I'd hear someone say that to me.
Don't do it. I'm just saying.
You'd be great at doing drugs.
With that logic.
You would be great at doing drugs.
With that logic.
What kind of compliment is that? Is that a compliment?
I don't even drink, so like I like these.
I don't know. I'm sober. So
How
it's,
many years?
6 years.
Dope, crazy, dope. Congrats. But Siaka, he's sober. I want to say maybe like 8 years. Samaritan, like
Yeah.
so. Every time I hear it, because I never really knew what that meant. When people say sober, I'm like, oh, you ain't drink tonight.
Yeah.
That's what I thought that meant. And then I found out like there's a whole thing. I was
Recovery.
like, oh, and it makes me
Yeah.
go, yo, congrats, man, big. Because I can't stop drinking soda.
Which no, me neither. That's my one vice.
oh,
is,
soda's
soda's my
so
one-
good. I
but
know you don't drink soda.
That's
I have sparkling water.
I knew it.
but my sobriety is why I can turn to Mary and say you'd be great at doing drugs because I have many
Yo,
years of
my
experience.
You have the right to
I
say
have the
that.
right to.
I'm going
tell
to start telling people that just randomly.
You. Oh
Like,
my God, you'd
great
be
at doing
fantastic at drugs.
I used to tell my boss. I used to work at a hotel real quick. I used to tell my boss, the GM. I'd be like, "You dress like you got about a little sack of cocaine in your pocket." The employees would be like this.
And he was flattered.
He's got the
No, the employees would be like, and he'll be like, "That's a good joke."
We got to get
he's
through
like,
the
"You're
rest
right."
of them. Let's get through these.
Yeah, this is a long show.
Yep.
Pat the plumber said, "Fine, Brett, if you're gonna pander." What is that about?
Because I've been in the chat making sure that we got to the 4th crisis party, which we did. We could get to a 5th one before we're
Let's
done.
do it.
This is almost a 3-hour show, ladies
Yeah.
and gentlemen.
Let's do it.
Disco Jensen said, "The real pop culture crisis is how little pop culture Mary has seen. Brett, make peace with the cat. You don't have to love it, but peace. Great guest."
I will never make peace with the cat. It will be war with the cat. The derpy cat gets no love from me. You can ask all you want. It will never change. I'm
See,
sorry.
this is being the hate that you want to see. in the
Exactly.
Cats
See?
are untrustworthy.
It's not cats. It's this one specific cat.
Which
it's
one?
It's a cat named Mocha who I find to be an absolute affront to humanity. It shouldn't even be allowed. It's awful.
The one that was sleeping on top of the pizza boxes?
That's Bocus. He's fantastic.
The one that was on top of the pizza
That's
box.
Bocus.
Bocus is approved.
Bocus is approved.
It was just on the
Mocha.
pizza box.
Mocha is a derpy little feline, just atrocity that shouldn't be allowed.
Are you saying that there's pizza downstairs?
there is?
I need pizza. Okay, we're finishing the show. Dearly Departed said, "Researchers have determined alopecia may lead to infidelity. It makes your sense of humor recede more quickly than your hairline."
Ooh.
Texas Chainsaw over Scream.
I don't even consider those the same genre.
And you haven't seen either, right?
I saw Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I think, but it was a long time ago.
I'm gonna go with Scream.
Yep.
Dearly Departed said, "Sit Mary down and make her watch Raising Arizona."
Yep.
Are you gonna do that?
We can do that. We'll put it on that TV back there.
Nate said, "Love the guest, love the pod, love talking movies. Empire Strikes Back is the best film ever made. I'll die on this hill."
There's plenty of people who I bet would agree with you.
DCNC said, "Shane Davis back for 500."
That's a midweek, so it wouldn't really be plausible. But maybe tune in on episode 500 and check just to make sure.
Now I'm thinking maybe we should have invited people for episode 500, but Dearly Departed said, "The Empire Strikes Back is the one with snow and asteroids." Honestly, I've forgotten a lot of the details already, but I'm kind of in a fugue state lately. I don't know. They were all fine to me. I like them all pretty much equally so far. Michael Williams said, I agree. Brett needs to watch PCU. It's fantastic.
Politically Correct University. I haven't seen it. That's what they say. I gotta watch it.
Pat the Plumber said, Director Phil is outshining failed musician Phil.
Oh, those are fighting words. Phil will have something to say. So every Thursday, Phil Labonte from the band All That Remains is our guest on this show.
Okay.
And his the inside joke on IRL is that he's a failed musician because he's not a failed musician. So
he's a successful musician.
So they call him the failed musician.
That's hilarious. His name's
Start
Phil.
calling yourself the failed director. It'll catch on.
Hell, what? No.
Failed director.
That actually might.
Director failed.
Hey, remember?
It even has a ring to it.
Hey, after the Sundance Film Festival, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Shane H. Wilder said, have a great weekend and live Moss.
There
know
you
we
go.
will. DCNC said Tim orders Taco Bell because he's a Demolition Man fan. Obs.
Yes.
Obs. Dearly Departed said, you think hate is your ally, but you merely adopted the hate. I was born in it, molded by it. I didn't see the love until I was already a man. By then it was nothing to me but nauseating.
Blindness.
Shane H. Wilder said, Brett over here trying to be a bad influence on Mary. LOL JK.
I said don't do it.
After you said you should.
I said no. I didn't say she should. I said she'd be good at it. It's not the
You'd
same
be
thing as
great
saying,
at doing drugs,
Yeah.
but don't.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's not saying she should.
High Voltage 75 said Taryn on PCC when? She was in the chat earlier hyping up Phil.
We need to get her on the show.
Was she?
I did not catch that, but
I didn't catch that either.
Yeah, she was.
I checked the chat less at the start of the show when we're getting going.
Well, Taryn, if you're still watching,
Yep.
hit us up. Let's get you on the show. Not that John Stewart said 2,000 years from now, the descendants of Brett and Mocha will still be at each other's throats, but no longer remember why. The Hatfields and McCoys.
We'll be the Hatfields and the McCoys of cats and humans, and we will win every time because as short as I am, our genetics are still superior. Given that the cat has its derpy tongue that sticks out all the time, making it look stupid. It's just
the Brentfields and Matt McCoys.
You look at the cat and its tongue is sticking out and it looks stupid, and you're like, how did evolution even allow you to?
I
make
like
it this
stupid
far?
looking cats.
I hate stupid. I'm sorry. I know. I hate stupid looking cats. Cats are untrustworthy, man.
No, I love cats.
I'm a dog guy. I have a dog.
J Spot 51. Just a thumbs
Wait, what?
up.
Oh.
It's just a high five and a sunglass emoji.
Thank
He's giving
you.
us all high fives. Thank you.
OrganizedBusinessServices.com said Fresh and Fit podcast guys are losing money. The reason why they get all these girls is because it's Miami, and Mary, stay away from these girls.
Okay, I will say, by the way, I do still want that fifth crisis party, guys, but there's something funny about the idea of like a West Virginia.
Virginia, whatever.
A West Virginia Fresh and Fit.
We get all the randoms who wear their pajama pants to Walmart.
Farm and Fit would be great.
Farm and Fit.
Yeah, and it's a West Virginia version of Fresh and
The
Fit.
West Ever.
Yes.
I mean, it could literally be called 304 since that's the area code in West Virginia.
I like this idea. I like it. They're all in flannel.
We'll put this into motion. Shane H. Wilder said, okay, let Mary get her pizza and give Brett a rest before Kurtz.
Here's the thing. I'm an absolute, I'm a beast when it comes to this. I do this for hours.
You're a natural.
I'm a natural.
High Voltage 75 said, Phil, what is your go-to fast food hamburger?
My go-to fast food hamburger, if it's McDonald's, is a Big Mac, no pickles, fresh, fries fresh, everything fresh.
I want enough salt to clog my arteries with the fries, personally. The fries don't do anything for me if they're.
You ask
if they're
for
not
salt packets.
No, I just risk it.
Oh, okay.
I just risk it. Like if they're not that, I use barbecue sauce on them anyways. But like, I just take.
They have new sauces at McDonald's right now.
No, I'm sorry. In-N-Out.
Okay.
In-N-Out in Cali, but if you're in Tennessee, Hugh Babies in Tennessee,
really good.
It's smash burger crazy. I'm a avid In-N-Out fan, and I literally was like, this is better than In-N-Out, and that hurt me to say. That's like saying it's better than Taco Bell.
In Santa Barbara, I had In-N-Out for the first time, and like the burger was
That don't count.
The burger was fine, and Fries just aren't good.
Y'all gonna stop disrespecting In-N-Out, yo.
Eugene corrected me. He said farm and fresh is better than farm and fit.
Farm and Fresh sounds like a homesteading podcast. That's not the same thing. Oh my goodness said, yo, we still going? Bead girl and cool guy going crazy. The energy from this guest is great. LOL, Def going to tap into what he does.
Excellent.
Swag.
And wait, your bead girl?
Yeah, I don't understand.
Your
The
shirt,
beads
your
on my
shirt, your
shirt. Okay. Dearly Departed said, I'm here to make your pizza as cold as my heart.
That's what microwaves are for.
Pat the Plumber said, no pizza for Mary.
We are almost at the 5th crisis party. Come on, go. We got one more here. Maybe we'll get it before the
DCNC
end.
said, Dr. Phil, watch Star Wars, bro. Don't worry, Ewoks ain't woke. Even though it's
Yeah.
what is that?
Oh my God. When it's the same thing backwards as it is forwards.
Homonym?
But it's not. It's not that.
No.
It's just.
Yeah. I don't know what the word for that is.
I forget.
Yeah. Okay. All right, guys. Before we go,
An anagram?
No, that's not an anagram.
No?
We're almost at the 5th crisis party, but before we go, guys, would you hit the like button on this video? Thank you so much for joining us. Tune in. Hit the like button on this video. Subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already. Sorry, guys. It's a palindrome. That's what it is. Palindrome is when it's spelled the same. Like wow is a palindrome. Spelled the same forwards as it is backwards. Yes. All right.
Palindromes?
Yes. Palindrome.
Oh, okay. I'm educating myself on this now.
All right. Phil, my friend, thank you.
Indeed. This was fun. This is great.
Let everyone know where they can find you.
Director, not doctor. Director
Yes.
Phil on Instagram and anything else that I might have out there I don't really use, so don't worry about it.
I can't believe I got through the whole thing without saying Dr. Phil. I'm so proud right now. We got some super chats here.
$20
at the
one
end there.
from Nate says party time.
It is.
We are
It's-
going to have a 5th party.
If
Thank
it goes
you.
off after we end the show, remember it will be a post-credit scene. We've also got 2 here at the end. The Dearly Departed says palindrome. Pat the Plumber, $5 without a message. Honky. Oh yeah. Let's go. Let's go for 5. I caught myself. And then, oh my goodness, says Mary is bead girl because the rosary, Hail Mary, full of grace. Not that, John Stewart says reheat your pizza in either an air fryer or a toaster oven. I will do neither.
I like cold pizza.
I like it soggy from the microwave. Sorry. JSpot51 says race car. That's a palindrome. And that is all of them.
Wait, there's another one.
says, yeah.
Jacob Edler said, you put a whole McChicken between the patties of a double cheeseburger. I don't want to say what it is, but... Are you going to say it?
Yes, it's a McGangbang.
Yes.
DCNC says yeah, but it's not a palindrome though is it? He's saying because the word
Ewok
the Ewok
and
is
woke?
not, but yeah. All right, guys, and then yeah, he says race car. That is a palindrome. Guys, Mary, let everyone know where they can find you.
You can send me validation on Instagram at Mary Archived, or you can send me hate on X. That is also Mary Archived.
They've got a hostage party going on. This is gonna be a 3-hour show if I don't get done with this soon, guys. Before we go, would you hit the like button on this video? Subscribe to our channel if you have not done so already. We are on our way to 75,000 subscribers, so thank you so much for that, guys. If you'd like to follow me, you can follow me on Instagram and Twix at Brett Dasovic on both of those platforms. PCC is here 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, noon Pacific. Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify. If you would like to listen to our show rather than watch, we got some super chats in here at the end. Not that John Stewart says Taco Cat, palindrome. DCNC says, well, actually. And then Dearly Departed says, nope, you ain't going nowhere. Settle in, kids. Bro, it's like 3 hours in. I'm not doing this for $2. I gotta go eat. We will be back with wait, we got
Are we gonna stay for the party?
Yes,
though?
no, well, they'll get the party.
Our socials.
Social medias, PCC is on Twix at popculture_show, Facebook and TikTok at popculturecrisis, Instagram at popculturecrisisPod. I think I got all the super chats. Guys, we will be back with another episode on Monday. Stay tuned for the crisis party and the post-credit scene. We'll see you then, guys.
Bye.
can hear us. Hi, guys.